welcome to... Well, first of all, Happy New Year, I guess.
Have you seen?
Spoiler almost for one of the videos I've prepared. Let me switch over to first, then we can go from there. Oh, I still love the transition. Look a bit small here. Don't mind me. Hello. I should probably like here. Growing. Finally, I'm growing. Oh my god, I'm so happy. Let me adjust a bit here. So, that's fine. That's fine, I guess. Hello. Happy New Year to everyone, and I hope you all had a nice start in the year. Nice relaxing start. I know the start into the year can be a bit stressful. I myself, yesterday, was just literally lying around and not doing anything productive at all. But I needed it. Too much social interaction. One notices I'm apparently unable to speak by now. That's what the new year has done to me. Oh god. Well, anyway. Since I'm still a bit tired and whatnot today, I decided we gonna do like a more cozy stream. Not really feel like playing today, and just instead gonna watch a few videos. As at least like. I have a few mythology based ones, and another one is quite nice, and maybe we could like find something else too. I don't know how long exactly I'm gonna stream today, but probably a bit shorter than usual. Maybe like 2 hours, maybe. I don't know. It depends on like how I feel. How I have a nice. I made myself quite cozy here. I have a nice cup of hot cocoa here, like a fluffy blanket over my lap. It's. I just wanna like cozy up today. It's. Normally this is something I aim to do on the Tuesday stream, which the first Tuesday stream that didn't happen because I wasn't at home. But usually I like want to like do more cozy streams on Tuesday normally, and Thursday and Saturday are more reserved for like playing games and whatever I come up with. As for the reason why, if anybody's interested, I do have a day job and I work from Monday to Thursday, and no, if I have to get up the next day, I'm usually gotta I usually don't want to stream that long or like exhaust myself unnecessarily. I mean, oh, we'll see. I'm still like working a bit on it, on how exactly I want to have everything done. It's still a bit up in the air and prone to change probably, but that's just how it is. I don't think it's that big of a deal. Yeah, even in the new year, I still make weird noises. I always make weird. I think. Did I do this in the past streams? I guess so. I'm not 100% sure, honestly. But yeah. Whatever. Really cozy outside too. For me, it's snowing outside of the tavern, and it's just like the perfect day for coziness. I remember when I got outside today, there was a lot of, what's it called in English? In German, it's called Raureif. Google knows everything, apparently. Like the Rau, just Rau. So basic. No, wait. Why is it Dutch? Wait, what? Wait. Why is it translated to Dutch right now? Google doesn't know everything apparently. Hoarfrost. Okay, didn't know that. Okay, a lot of hoarfrost. Hoar. hoarfrost, like those frozen dew drops on the trees. It looked really pretty. Kind of was at least nice outside. Despite the fact I had to go to work, but can't be helped. It was a relatively cozy, relatively chilly. It was chilly, and it was not a stressful day today. But I have to. Normally I don't work on Friday, but since everybody else is still on vacation or paid leave, I gonna do like the Friday shift today, tomorrow too. So that's also the reason why I'm like feeling more like a cozy stream today. So much for my backstory. Coco. Fortunately, I don't have any whipped cream anymore. Normally I prefer it with that, but I ran out. Forgot to buy it today. Despite me being at the shop today. But yeah. A little bit of water here too. No. One is for taste and one is for actual hydration. I don't know. I mean, I try to. So, as I said, we're doing some reaction stuff or just like watching a few videos. I try not to just blindly watch them and not provide any input for it, because I do often watch like reacts from specifically from other VTubers on my free time, and I just don't personally like it if they're just watching and not really commenting or reacting. So I mean, I goddamn it, I watch a react to see a reaction and to get like additional input, not to just watch the watch the video again with another face in the corner. At least it's my way of thinking. You know, watching a reaction to see the reactions actually. Yeah. I gotta say though, my background here with the steaming food and everything, like here, it's I really like it. Anybody like want a hot bread or like a fresh beverage from back there? I really like all this the cozy environment, and always liked it. Yes, you could have told. I like heard a comment recently that like the whole vibe here is quite cozy, and it's like really glad to hear it, because it's exactly what I'm trying to aim for. So gotta check like chat and everything. Looks good. Live. Ton. Hop. Didn't know. Or kinda, that sounds cool. I think we start watching soon. Let me take one last sip of my hot cocoa, as long as it's still hot. Oh, the mouth was glitching out just a bit now. Guess it's fine again. So, push around my screens here a bit. Quite useful to have 3 screens though. So, the mic is still a bit. Adjust the mic a bit. So, hello? I I really need to figure out. My mic has like such a little button to mute it. Like it's just touch, and I don't get any feedback when I actually mute it. And the mute button is on the bottom. Just adjusted the mic, and yeah, I muted myself. I can't not goddamn lock it. There's a software to lock it, but every time I restart the computer, it's unlocked again, and I touch it, and then it's annoying. Is all I'm trying to say. It can't be helped. So I never done like a react here. So I hope I set everything up correctly. Hopefully the right screen. I do like. What's the option? I saw it somewhere that I can like. Right now. Doesn't matter. Should be fine though. Let's try to switch over. Is this the right one? Yeah. Hello. So, I've prepared a few videos. Hello, Extra History. Yeah. One thing I always wanted to watch was from the channel Extra History, the Extra Mythology series. And like 170 videos. We're obviously not gonna watch all of them because that would be extremely insane. I've not seen like the vast majority of them yet. I think I saw like maybe 2 or 3, I guess, in the past. It's quite a long time ago. I remember one video about the Wendigo. The way I want to kind of make it is like, oh, we have the videos here and the tribe. Or maybe get a bit of input. I know many of those mythology stuff. For those who's not aware of it, it's like a little hobby of mine. And yeah, other than that, we just gonna watch a bit. I have something else prepared too. I don't just want to watch mythology stuff. This could be a bit too much, even for me. But yeah. So the first video is about so the channel generally Extra History. I can very much recommend it. I like their history videos too. Maybe we can watch some of those if you're really interested. If you're interested at all. I saw already like a few of them, not all. It's a bit similar to Oversimplified, if you know this channel. If not, also like recommendation from my side. You like the history in like a more funny, entertaining way. It's like really cool channels, both of them. Yeah, Extra History, and the other one is like Oversimplified. And also nicely animated. Was a fan of. Yes, in case you couldn't have guessed. Gonna turn off the music now. I hope with the audio everything is going fine, but I hope. I'm positive. So it's kind of irritating, so quiet. Let's start the video. So the first one is about the Kappa. If I remember correctly, the Kappa is, I mean, okay, here it's Japanese mythology. It's like this weird sea yokai. I think it's a yokai. It's like a demon that likes cucumbers very much and has like a little pond thingy on their head on top of it, as far as I'm aware. And just not. Here, yeah. It was kind of behind the board. Yeah. So Kappa, I think a little green dude. Looks always kind of funny, I think. Let's start with the first. Hope the audio is right.
Have you seen this boy? All T1000 jokes aside, I'm betting a lot of you know this face as Kappa, the sarcastic or trollish in good fun Twitch emote from the internet. But did you know that a Kappa is much more than a sarcastic face or a Greek letter? The Kappa, in fact, has its roots in Japanese mythology as one of the most outlandish creatures ever to exist. Oh, and did we mention they're coming for your butts?
For your butt. Okay, this is something I didn't know. Kind of butt focused, aren't they?
Thanks so much to Incogni for helping to keep people's personal data personal. Kappa are kame of the water, aka a force of nature, neither fully good nor evil,
Okay.
objects of both reverence and fear. And they live in fresh water.
Okay, so they're not yokai, gotta correct myself, they're kame. Okay. So they're forces of nature.
All around
Didn't know.
Japan, but one of the most popular spots to find them is behind the Yokenji Temple in the city of Tono, Japan. There, beside a clear stream in a wooded grove, there is a shrine to these mischievous creatures, and it's said that Kappa can still be found there to this day. Though sightings of Kappa are relatively rare, stories of Kappa have passed down for generations, because really it's pretty hard to forget one once you've seen it. Each of these little kame is about the size of a child, with the face of a monkey, the beak and shell of a turtle, and a plate-shaped depression on its head that's full of water. But make no mistake, friend, despite their small size, Kappa can be very dangerous. Back in the early days of Tono,
They're just like gonna butt bite everybody or the... No, I mean, I heard that they can be kind of dangerous, but... I, like... I gotta remember, one of the first games I ever played, I remember very vividly, was Harvest Moon Friends of Mineral Town, in case you know, any of you know this. And there's also a Kappa character, which is a bit bizarre if you never heard of it, and you gotta, I think you have to throw a cucumber in the lake, in a specific one, and then the Kappa appears, and yeah, it weirded me out quite a bit as a kid as I first saw it. I don't even know how I got it, that I just randomly threw a cucumber in the lake. I know I didn't look it up anywhere, but I do remember just randomly throwing it in there for whatever reason.
one of the monks had brought his horse to the clear river to drink, but as he waited, a terrible smell began to seep from behind a tree. Aghast and gagging, the monk went to examine its origins, but to his surprise, there was nothing there. Flummoxed, he returned to the horse, who was still taking a deep, long drink. Maybe like a little too long? Whoa there, slow down, buddy. Wait, was the horse's whole head underwater? The monk rushed to the water's edge to see a pair of webbed hands around the horse's muzzle pulling. It was a Kappa, trying to drag his steed into its watery home. So furiously, the monk clawed at the greenish arm to save the mare and managed to pry a single arm free. Then, with a Herculean effort, the monk yanked the arm towards the riverbank, hoping the creature would be weaker out of the water. He pulled and pulled and pulled some more. What the? Looking back at his horse's attacker, the monk discovered that the Kappa's arm had nearly doubled in length, to which he then did a double take, but no, he wasn't seeing things. Though the scaly arm wasn't stretched per se, kinda seemed like the Kappa's arms were connected through the middle of the shell and the monk was pulling them both through. With a newfound sense of vigor,
Hello, Heidi! Oh, come what is this? That's a cool emote. Hello, Heidi. Welcome, welcome. Apparently, Happy New Year to you too, Heidi. Thank you very much. Yeah, you came to a good time. Yeah. You came to a good time. Apparently, we are now pulling out, pulling stuff out of the water. It's what the heck. I don't know. I always got the spots. It's annoying. Yeah. Okay, so Kappa kind of have one long arm. It's a Kappa, is it? Yeah, it's a Kappa. Actually, because you can see, I think you can see here. Yeah, was also commented on the specific emote. Although I'm not sure how they are connected. Didn't go into detail there. Just trying to learn a bit new mythology. I did know the Kappa already, but I didn't know he could do this with his arms. That it's like just one long noodle or something.
stretched per se, kinda seemed like the Kappa's arms were connected through the middle of the shell and the monk was pulling them both through. With a newfound sense of vigor, the monk continued to pull harder and harder until he fell back with a splash, holding one Kappa.
Hi, Ray. I didn't know about his arms either. I know that they like cucumber and apparently they like to bite butts. But I didn't know their arms could do this. Like a goddamn pool noodle. Maybe this is where the cucumbers go. The kappa eats it, turns into like replacement arms. Who knows?
Kappa's arms in his grasp. But perhaps even more surprising was the kappa itself, because it didn't seem in pain or even particularly surprised.
I love the way it's drawn. A lot of Japanese yokai have odd obsessions with butts. Really? Like, I know that a lot of Japanese folklore can be very, very weird. Like, I remember once reading about the creation myth according to Japanese mythology, and yeah, but I mean, it's basic for most mythologies that, oh, the dude cried. Oh, from the tears, like other gods emerged, and oh, they sweat, and other gods emerged. They washed their face, and other gods emerged from this. But I didn't know they have like the obsession with butts specifically. I really love that face. I gotta say, it's so funny.
That its arm or arms had come clean off. It simply stood up, ignored the horse, and became perfectly still, just staring at the monk. It was actually pretty creepy. And there they were, two adversaries staring at each other in silence for quite some time, until suddenly the kappa asked, "Might I have my arm back?" Now, if it shocked the monk to hear human language coming from a turtle bill, he didn't show it. And with the poise that only a monk could muster, he responded, yes, the kappa could have his arms back, but only if he apologized. And so it did. And then some, actually. Because you see, the kappa is an honorable kami. When the monk returned its arm, it went from drowning horses to being a protector of the area. It's even said that years later, when a fire broke out at the temple,
Okay. Thanks, Autobot. This message shouldn't be blocked. Heidi, what you're writing here? Block for sex-related content in the chat message. My favorite is the Shirime. It's a faceless creature that shows his butt to people at night, and then a high eyeball just juts out, just stares from where the butthole should. Oh god, that's what I call a butt face. Oh god, that's actually terrifying. That's actually terrifying. And I thought like the huge eyeball, yeah. I have to imagine it. Oh my god, it's the pictures in my head are absolutely terrifying. Gotta be honest.
a number of kappa appeared and poured water from their heads onto the flames to put it out, saving the structure. Heck, even these days, at that small shrine on the bank dedicated to the kappa, it's said that pregnant women who pray there will have an abundance of milk, which I guess is also a thing that kappa can do. But pre-deal kappa
Okay.
are not only dangerous to horses, they are chaotic entities after all, and are just as likely to be caught peeking up kimonos as surprising grown men and challenging them to sumo matches. Though their chaos can be
Yeah,
more dire.
as you do, just randomly picking up kimonos and especially like just making like do sumo wrestling out of nowhere. Happens to me all the time. Gosh, I can't even tell you how often this happened to me. Trying to a turtle for a yokai for milk and not a cow. It's actually like a really missed opportunity. It's like a really missed opportunity. Maybe it at least was like a goat or something, but no. Apparently, turtle guy with obsession with cucumbers and a little pond on their head is the way to go here. I absolutely understand that. So probably should more worship you in this case, or praying to you.
Surprising grown men and challenging them to sumo matches, though their chaos can be more dire. They've been known to drown people who fail to best their inhuman strength, and to catch children by the legs and pull them into watery graves.
Okay.
Meaning no one was ever completely safe near the waters, so sometimes a kappa needed to be caught. But hold on, if a kappa is strong enough to drown a horse, how would anyone even go about trying to catch one? It's not like we can pull their arms off.
Hercules. We just make a crossover in mythology. We grab Hercules from the Greeks. He can pull it out.
Every time.
That's the way to go.
Well, that is where a little bit of knowledge can be really clutch. Over generations of capture attempts, Kappa weaknesses were discovered that have aided in dealing with the mischievous creatures. The first rule is that they hate iron, as do most mythical creatures of the same period. They also have an obsession with cucumbers for some reason. Some sources believe
Cucumbers are
that's
great.
because they are a predominantly male spirit, and the cucumber can be seen as sort of a pre-internet stand-in for an eggplant emoji.
Okay, I did not know that connection with cucumbers. I did not know that connection. They predicted the eggplant emoji in social media or the usage. Oh my god. Oh no. Oh no.
Actually, another one of the Kappa's favorite foods. But, you know, the one
Okay.
thing that the Kappa loves most of all is something that we always have with us: our human butts. Well, it's not the butt exactly. What a Kappa actually wants is your shirikodama, a mythical organ that holds part of your soul, which can be easily accessed through your rear. So, you know, close enough. It's believed that the Kappa want the shirikodama because drowning victims, Kappa-related or otherwise, are often found with their backs raised. And to an untrained eye, it can look like something was forcibly removed from their rear. But for the Kappa, a shirikodama is very real. Some sources say that they eat it. Others think it's a tribute to another kame. But either way, oh boy, do the Kappa want them dearly. So the earliest Kappa fishermen used humans as bait. The foolhardy soul would walk to the water's edge and pull down their chores, letting that full moon just shine across the river, while the others in their party would set a trap. Oh, and the Kappa would go for it. But as we know, Kappa are strong enough to drown a horse, so to pacify it, the fishers would use a curious trick. They would treat the Kappa with respect and bow to them. Because remember, Kappa, despite their chaotic nature, are honorable creatures. So if you bow to a Kappa, they will bow back in kind.
If the Kappa tries to reach up for my soul, I will uppercut that little cucumber eating critter. I mean, I've been around cows by past often since I grew up on the countryside, and yeah, like a uppercut or a kick from a cow that can devastate you. That can really devastate you. Note to self: never get on Heidi's bad side. Oh, no, not that I intended to. But the whole bowing thing, it reminds me of two things. Firstly, the deers in, I think, Naka, it's called. The is it Naka province? Like the bowing deers. But it does even more remind me of, for those who have seen the series Disenchantment, of the I'm 6'7" and can lift 3 goats. He got nothing. Okay. Nara province. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Don't mess with Heidi. It's what everybody can get. Oh. I did actually like watch part of your introduction video where you said this, but I haven't gotten around it to watch it completely yet. But I remember that part where this was mentioned actually. Yeah, Disenchantment. So Ray, you know it. I really love it too. And there were this Quagmirians, these fish people, and they also always bow when you bow to them. And that's like how they got fended off as the main cast tries to escape. They just bow, and the other have always to bow to.
And if you manage to bow deep enough, when the Kappa bends over, the water from its dome will spill, which strips them of their strength. Moreover, it's said that if you can refill the plate on their head, they will obey you, or at the very least stop causing you trouble. But if a fisherman was not strong enough to remove a limb, or unable to bow deep enough that the Kappa would lose its water, they still had one final explosive weapon: stank. Yeah, in what is quickly becoming the oddest episode of Extra Mythology we've ever done, now is the time that I tell you that Kappa love to fart. They even have 3 buttholes just so they can fart as much as they want. One of their favorite non-lethal pranks is to unleash a torrent on an unsuspecting human, and have reportedly passed gas so violently that it capsized a boat. But even with all of that,
Wait, what? Wait, what?
That it capsized a torrent on an unsuspecting human, and have reportedly passed gas so violently that it capsized a boat. But even with all of that,
That was one heck of a fart. Holy shit. Imagine you fart so hard that you capsize a goddamn boat. What the heck?
Passed gas so violently that it capsized a boat. But even with
That's
all of
really
that,
foul.
the weirdest thing is they hate the smell of human farts. So to scare one away,
Okay. No, my farts are good, but like the others are disgusting. Little double standard having fluff say, oh god.
you can forego politeness entirely and just let one rip. It can distract them enough to get away, sure, but beware, because they're likely to come back and cause mischief for you another day. So, if you ever get near the water's edge in Japan, be sure to keep an eye out for these chaotic creatures. Guard your cucumbers, be ready with your deepest bow, and if you ever feel scared, just know that farting is always an excellent choice. Kappa. But all internet memes aside, today is actually a bittersweet day around our animated campfire. For our illustrious extra mythology and so you haven't read illustrator Jordan will be setting down his weekly EM stylus to move on to other awesome artistic endeavors. And I think I speak for all of our viewers and of course the EC crew when I say that Jordan, your work has been nothing short of extraordinary. Working with you has been a joy. Thank you so much for lending your incredible talent to help us talk about some of the world's most important literature and myths.
Okay, so in general here, for everybody who joined by, the channel is called Extra History. Can very much recommend it. I don't know why my favorite creature of the Japanese mythology is the kitsune. Oh, really? The kitsune ray? I would never have guessed. I might be biased. Does this guy has one about kitsune as well by any chance? That's a good question. I just yep.
Have you seen this boy? Oh.
Let's see if there's a kitsune one too. Kitsune. Kitsune Island, what the heck is this? Extra history. Not about kitsune, no? Tanukis are cool too with their. Yeah, oh god, there's this one Ghibli movie. What's it called with the tanuki? I can't remember the name. It's also like a plot point. Pompoko. Pompoko, thank you. Actually, for those I have already also something about Ghibli movies because I really like Ghibli movies. Like they're my absolute favorite. And maybe we watch this one later. It's a bit longer. Isn't this where they store their stuff? That definitely. Yeah, they store their stuff there. Yeah, right. Yeah. And I think they also like use it to generally use it. Do they use it to transform into other things or no? I think that's like a different power. Like the Ghibli is great. Actually, I do remember the basically a marsupial. What's I've heard this word before. Ah, okay, like a kangaroo or wombat. Okay, I'm not a biologist. Beutled here. Yeah. Marsupial. I always have to think of Mars. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, it's actually true. It's actually true. But the reason, by the way, why I like it, I mean, not just Japanese mythology, they have like different. I think the Kujuki Saka Ona habe ich, did I already see at one point? But yeah, like for like 5 or 6, and then we see if we like maybe change to the Ghibli one. All creatures with balls can do that though, right? I kind of have to think of this one South Park episode with the cancer. Cancer. Randy carrying around his balls with goddamn wheelchair. Yeah, of course, but now everybody balls, sure. Don't try to force it though, please. Yeah, medicinal KFC. God. I did not watch a lot of South Park in my time, but like I remember like a few things, like this, for example. So let's go for the next one because I have no idea what this is. Ilmarine and the Sapo. So I know the Sapo is probably, or Sapo, don't know how to pronounce it. Sampo. It reminds me of the Sami region in Finland. So it's like completely up north, also like parts of Sweden and Norway. Probably something with this, but can't forge love. I'm actually kind of curious. I don't know what this is.
We open today's tale with Ilmarinen, the smith god of Finnish mythology, being blown across the night sky by the wind. He hadn't intended this, mind you. Rather, he had fallen victim to a very simple plot. I mean, could have happened to anyone, really. You see, the wind had plucked him up from the top of a tree planted by his wizard brother, Vainamoinen, which was so tall that you could collect actual stars from the sky. Vainamoinen had lured his brother to this treetop with the promise that he could collect the aforementioned starlight, and that's where he sprung his wind trap. For he needed Ilmarinen to settle a debt for him in the northern lands of Pohjola, where the winds would send him. Because it turned out when the wizard himself had been up north in search of a wife, he got captured by the evil witch Louhi, who was looking for someone to build her the legendary Sampo. Unfortunately, Vainamoinen was no smith, but his brother was. So the wizard promised that if he was freed, he would send Ilmarinen to complete the task. To sweeten the pot, Louhi offered a marriage between her beautiful daughter, the Rainbow Maiden, to whomever could build the Sampo, and then she let Vainamoinen go to fetch his smith brother by any means necessary. And since Ilmarinen wasn't interested in his brother's tall tales of beautiful shiny maidens, turns out the any means necessary was in fact a super tall tree magic wind trap. Like I said, simple plot. Who hasn't had that happen to them? But to
So did I understand this correctly? They basically he made him climb up a very, very tall tree and then flung him away. Every moment, whenever I walk around the woods. What, the flinging of other people or getting captured by a witch? Actually, speaking of which, there's actually right now yes, just yes. Okay, just yes. Actually, talking about which, I soon will release a short about a true story that happened to me when I was cursed by a witch when I was a kid. And yes, that actually happened to me. I like. Yeah, I've been cursed when I was a little kid by a witch. Never got uncursed. So make of that what you will. Damn, what did you do to her? Well, it was not just me. So the rough story is, my parents often took me to a like inn tavern kind of thing where they knew the owner and a couple of patrons, and there were a lot of other kids where we always played. And at one point, one of the older patrons told us that behind the inn there lives a witch, and if we disturb her, she will curse us because she doesn't like to be disturbed. And as kids do, but I mean, for one, we obviously believed it because, goddamn, we were kids. I think I was like 8 or 7 at the time, and we like made a little game of like but I can't think of the name right now. Like a test of courage, where we would go behind the tavern, the inn, and we would scream something like "Witch, come out if you dare!" And curse us or something like this. Like I cannot really remember it, especially since it wasn't German. And like in German, it kind of rhymed. It's a bit hard. Doesn't matter. So yeah, we always did this and then ran away immediately back to the front of the tavern. And obviously, nothing ever happened really. Until one day, every time we kids were at the tavern with our parents, we would always like huddle together in a group. Oh, let's do like the witch thingy. And at one point, we did it, and suddenly on the back of the inn there was like a little stall, like an old market stall or something, and there was actually an old lady and an older gentleman in the stall, and they're like, "Yeah, come closer, kids, come closer." We were scared, but still we were like, "Okay, huddle together in a group." We go there, and yeah, then she looked us dead in the eyes and said, "You disturb me too often. Now I'm gonna curse you." And we all ran away screaming and crying to our parents, like, "Oh no, we got cursed by the witch, no." And a few of the parents then like went back to the behind the inn and the slash tavern, and like the stall and the old lady were gone, and the gentleman too. And remember, we begged him, "No, don't go there, or else you get cursed too." We were so scared. And then they came back, "Oh, there's nothing there." And that was basically like the end of our little test of courage. I'm like 99% sure that our parents just like made up this whole spiel because they were so fed up from us like always walking behind the tavern and screaming around like, "Oh, witch, come out if you dare." Lux dropping law here. Yeah, it's true. So I guess I really should incorporate this somewhere in my in my character lore too, that I got cursed by a witch. Actually not a bad idea. So yeah, actually planning to, I already recorded this, I have to like cut it and add the subtitles and everything, but I'll probably release a short in like the next in the week, maybe at the weekend or something, whenever I like the time and the energy to edit the video. So yeah. It's like a little story that always flies around in my head, and it's kind of fun to tell. Just, yeah, I got cursed by a witch when I was a kid. But now the tavern in general was quite cool actually. Like they had like almost a little petting zoo, you could say. They had like rabbits, they had cats, they even had a donkey we could pet, which was quite cool. And they had a witch which cursed us all. So I still to this day do not know what exactly the curse could be. I haven't like started growing warts or anything, so like not something majorly disfiguring, I think. Which was part of the petting zoo. Pet the witch. Don't feed her though. A witch in a petting zoo. Oh, that's actually funny. Little fun side fact, by the way. The gentleman, the older man that was standing right next to her. I don't know if you can imagine something if I'd like describe it, but he was like rubbing his hands like some evil guy, like and he was always like rubbing his hand like this as if he like gonna take us away any moment. So either it was an actual witch, or like, as I said, probably our parents were just fed up by us screaming all the time behind the tavern. made this whole spiel up. But yeah, at the time we were all scared shitless. Absolutely. It's so yeah. That's how I got cursed by a witch.
To Ilmarinen, the oddest thing. Like I said, simple plot. Who hasn't had that happen to them? But to Ilmarinen, the oddest thing in this entire tale was the Sampo itself. Because even the greatest smith the world had ever known had no idea what it was.
But he didn't know what a sample was, and he should make one. What?
The forging of today's historical tale was made possible by our creator-owned and operated streaming service Nebula. But more on that after the myth. Upon landing in Bahoyua, the Grand Smith Ilmarinen was greeted immediately by the toothless witch Lohi, who got straight to the point. Would he build the legendary Sampo for her? Now, Ilmarinen wasn't in the mood. He'd been duped into coming here after all, and wasn't about to start smithing right when he landed.
Understandable.
As he opened his mouth to tell her this, his stomach betrayed him with the most terrible growl.
Oh no. An old lady and you're hungry. We all know how this gonna end.
Come inside,
The witch offered,
and I'll make you the most wonderful meal.
and as
Every grandma ever. We have a lady in the village, little kids think she's a witch because she's also probably 300 years old. She just makes herbal medicine and keeps to herself. Honestly, it's kind of cool. It's honestly kind of cool. I always like this whole thing. I do remember a couple of years back, I was often like, oh yeah, let's go explore around the village I live in, or I lived in. I don't live there anymore. And I remember I came across like an old disheveled like not barn, but what? Like an old disheveled farmhouse, whatever. And like I was looking a bit. It looked quite desolate, really. Like it's empty, like at least a decade or more. And I was like looking a bit through the windows, see what's going on there. Like maybe 15 minutes or something. I was just curious if there's would be something there. And then I couldn't get anything. I didn't try to get in or something, but just looking for windows and around the house. Later, like I went back the same way, and then I saw like an old lady walking out in and out of the house. That she actually lived there, so if she was at home at that point, she probably quite creeped out by some random like teenager looking through the windows and walking around the house. So like I felt really sorry for her. She probably quite creeped out, but I was just curious. I thought it was empty. I was quite thankful I didn't try to go in there. Yeah, I felt so bad. Like, I thought about like, should I go up there and apologize for it? But on the other hand, I did not see her or hear anything in the house, so maybe she wasn't even at home. And she would even be more creeped out and start saying, "Yeah, hello, Miss Old Lady. Sorry for like about an hour ago when I walked around the house and looked through the windows because I thought the house was abandoned." It's I just decided to. She didn't react to me when I walked by. I'm pretty sure she saw me when I walked by again. So, at least she didn't recognize it was me. Yeah, I was actually just curious. It's. I really hope to this day she didn't see me. It just would be like hella awkward.
he looked at the horizon, realizing just how ridiculously far from home he was. He really didn't relish the idea of a trip back on an empty stomach, so he agreed. Lohi offered him a seat and procured him some of the most delightful victuals.
That's how I feel when the younger village kids come peep in my window to see if the rumors of the Herculean cowwoman are true. I mean, I would be curious as a little kid too. I mean, I know you, so and I know it's true, obviously. But especially as soon as they see you walking around and like you're over 2 meters. What 6'7" you says like 2 meters 5, 2 meters 10, something like that. And walking around with like 3 goats, you're carrying. At least at this point, like they probably believe it. I wonder, like, would make like also like a mythology video about you though. I will watch it.
Honestly, it was a bit more hospitality than he had expected from the evil witch of the north. Go figure. Then, when he was done, just as he was about to
Didn't
leave
finish
for
the
his
food?
long trip south, that's when he saw her, the Rainbow Maiden. Wait, was his brother telling the truth? Avavoom. She was every bit as beautiful as his brother had described, and then some. And in an instant, Ilmarinen was love-struck. And as the Rainbow Maiden approached the table, he quickly turned to the witch and asked, just to be sure, if this maiden was single. With a wide grin, Lauhi then explained that her daughter was very much single. And it just so happened that her bride price was, oh, would you look at that, the Sampo. Oh, what a deal! He could marry the most beautiful woman alive, and all he had to do was just invent the mythical Sampo. All right, look, not to brag or anything, but Ilmarinen had forged the actual Arch of Heaven. So, like, how hard could this Sampo be?
Good reference.
Really? He just needed to know one little detail before he could get started. Where was the workshop? Of course, there wasn't one. So immediately, he set to building one from the very earth with a set of bellows so large that it took 4 of Lauhi's minions just to pump them. Then, with the workshop completed, it was time to get down to the actual hard work. What in the world was a Sampo? Well, he thought, if no one knew what the Sampo was, he couldn't really get it wrong, could
I mean, got a point. Create me the sample. What is the sample? I have no idea. Just create it.
he? So on the first day of smithing, Ilmarinen pulled from the forge a magical bow. It was possibly the most wonderful bow that had ever been made, but as he carried it to present it to Lauhi and the Rainbow Maiden, he discovered it also had some pretty serious bloodlust. So he zipped straight back to the forge and threw the evil bow back into the fire. On the second day, Ilmarinen pulled a great ship from the fire. It too was a beautiful
Yeah, just pull out a whole ship out of the fire. Sure, that's how forges work. I'm pretty sure. I've seen a few smiths in my life already. Yeah, I've never seen one like actually smithing a whole goddamn boat. A bow? Yeah, sure. Like together with a woodworker. But a goddamn boat, yeah, course.
sight, but again, it was evil, having no desires except to rush into battle. So once again,
Evil boat.
Ilmarinen broke the pieces apart and cast them back into the flames. On the third day, a gilded cow emerged. Ilmarinen placed it as a
Heidi, is that you?
gift in the witch's barn and began to search for the Rainbow Maiden. But before he could reach her, the cow escaped and pranced all through the forests and swamps. And to add insult to injury, the cow would not provide milk. To be very clear here, it's not that it couldn't provide milk, rather it chose to simply splash it around defiantly on the ground. So back into the fires it went.
Oh no! Don't throw Heidi in the fire!
He would try something different. How bad could a magical plow be? Oh, very, apparently. Okay. Because when he unleashed it into the fields, this too was a menace, wanting only to destroy all manner of crop. So doing his best Frodo impression he had been practicing all week, Ilmarinen cast it back into the fires from whence it came. Okay, so
I mean, at this point, if like everything he made out of this forge and like recast it, I would maybe consider like at least changing the material at one point, because it just always remelts. It's probably a material, maybe even the forge. But you know, what do I know? I'm just a telltale. I'm not a smith or anything.
4 evil items. Ilmarinen was stumped. He was the greatest smith of all, so what the heck was going on? The chimney was good, the bellows were strong, and you can't really go wrong with a big rock. So what was making everything so evil? Suspiciously, he began to eye his helpers. With a stern command, he had the men leave, and in their place, he summoned the 4 winds themselves to fan the flames. For 3 more days, the winds...
Yeah, sure. I don't trust the people anymore. Let's get the winds themselves to instead of the bellow. That's like really impressive. Like, bravo.
Blew into the forge until finally Ilmarinen pulled out a different form, a golden hand mill with a rainbow lid. On 3 sides of the mill were large spouts, each of which created something different. From one side, it made flour, from another, salt, and from the third, it spewed gold coins? Marvelous! But Ilmarinen refused to get too excited too quickly. Just what horrible purpose could this mill serve? So
Metal gymnastics are here are crazy. It's like most mythologies, really. Like, do you know the Nordic, like Germanic creation myth, where so basically, according to the myth, like our sky is the skull of the giant Ymir, and Ymir was like the first being together with his cow. Don't know. They had like a huge cow that he drank milk from. I don't remember the name of the cow at the moment. And like Ymir, like created life by in ways that his feet mated with each other, and his like just over all this kind of stories only exists because people had no common sense. Yeah, and I think it also shows that people were always just as crazy as we are today. Like, yeah. Yeah, I remember now. Yeah, exactly. So like Ymir's Otuma was the name of a good cow. Okay, thank you. Autumla? I probably pronounced this wrong. Or it like has different names. But yeah. But I still remember like the fact that yeah, Ymir's feet mated with each other and created like trolls or anything, and then his armpits got jealous and mated with each other and created other forms of life, which yeah, it's one way of thinking how people or how creatures are conceived. Not a very realistic one, mind you, but you know, I that's also like I just love the craziness of mythology sometimes. I really love it. It's like one of the best parts.
he waited. But when night came and went, despite all his workings, the mill was surprisingly fine. The gold didn't melt, the flour was pure, and the salt wasn't magically turning into ash or anything. But most importantly, there was no desire from the Sampo for death. Nailed it. If there ever was
I hate
a
when my
Sampo
armpits get
this
yeah,
petty,
me too. Always happens.
it was a veritable horn of plenty. No, scratch that, it was better, because the Sampo even makes gold. Let's see some silly Greek horn do that. Of course, Ilmarinen had to retain his composure. After all, he had a wife-to-be to impress. So he kept it cool when he brought the magical item to Lauhi and the Rainbow Maiden. Lauhi was ecstatic. With dizzying speed, she grabbed it from him and hid it in her underground vault, locking it behind 9 locks. And satisfied with his job well done, Ilmarinen then turned to the Rainbow Maiden.
What's the catch?
How about this marriage thing? He asked. You ready to head to your new home in the south? But the Rainbow Maiden just shook her head no. Because you see, while Lauhi could offer her blessing, it was, in the end, still the Rainbow Maiden's choice whether or not to accept a husband. And if he'd
Oh, quite progressive actually. I like it.
bothered to, I don't know, speak to her at all, he might have learned that she could actually never leave Pahoewa without causing calamity. The birds would stop singing, the berries would stop growing, mermaids would leave the water, and we all know how bad that would be.
Oh yeah, not gonna have like the mermaids leave the water. Absolute like calamity. They would all lose their voice to a like evil kraken witch.
So exhausted and defeated, Ilmarinen prepared for the long trek home. But Lauhi wasn't unkind. She offered the failed suitor a boat of copper and bid the north wind to speed him on his journey home. And just like that, Ilmarinen was again at the mercy of the wind, empty-handed, except this time with one sound piece of advice. There was nothing in the world that could be bargained or forged which was more valuable than good old-fashioned communication. And actually, in that very spirit, here's something that I've been wanting to talk about for a while. What Nebula actually means to us as creators on the internet.
Okay, yeah, it's actually quite a valuable lesson. Like nothing is more important than proper communication. Absolutely true. Really like that sentiment. So I think let's go with one more mythology one for now, and then go to the Ghibli video. Always tries to load some kind of it with
love can
ad,
be
but
complicated, right?
couldn't.
Well, that went
Oh, now it loaded to
from
that,
the
but
ancient Mesopotamia.
I
We all know that love can be complicated, right? Well, that went double in ancient Greece because the gods were
okay, yeah, the ancient Greek gods. Who doesn't know it? I actually have also like a short planned, like commenting about the weird, or the many ways, especially Zeus is known for procreating. But I think it's a pretty well known fact that he. I mean, it's like in a lot of mythologies. It's just so weird. Pygmalion. Love can be hard. Glamion. I heard I read the name before, but I cannot really think of it
really fickle
right now.
bunch with motives ranging from jealousy to boredom. We all know that love can be complicated, right? Well, that went double.
Wait, what?
We all know that
in complicated relationships, 5 religion, me, occupation, sky.
that love can be complicated, right? Well, that went double in ancient Greece because the gods were a really fickle bunch with motives ranging from jealousy to boredom. Not to mention Cupid just zipping around shooting people with a bow for fun. These nosy deities seem to like nothing more than to interfere with the lives of mortals. At any moments, the gods could strike you, and you would find your.
I know the story why the Milky Way is called Milky Way. Yeah, I think it's. Wasn't this like some sort of breast milk thing? Like I heard this like somewhere. Yeah, it was like some breast milk. Some spilled breast milk, and it created the Milky Way galaxy. We're all milk. Milk is everywhere.
Yourself smitten, but to who or even to what could be quite up in the air. And today's campfire tale involves one of those strange divine love connections between the sculptor Pygmalion and his statue, giving new credence to the phrase, finding love is really hard.
Okay, love with his statue. I don't remember like a story about that. Let's see.
Thanks so much to GiveWell for helping everyone find highly effective charities and making sure our donation dollars go further. It all started with the biggest scandal ever to hit Cyprus. See, down at the docks, right, there were these women who, get this, would have sex for money.
No! Oh god, that never happened ever before or after. Oh my god.
I know! I mean, that has never happened in the history of the world. Like,
thank you! Just what I was saying. Yeah, it's scandalous. Absolutely scandalous to even imagine something like this would ever happen. Didn't I already tell you like last stream the time when I worked in a town hall where the local like brothel owner regularly came by to register his new workers. Okay, it was always so awkward. And yes, it's an actual thing that happened.
literally, right? Well, according to this Greek myth, these were the first prostitutes ever. So the great king and sculptor Pygmalion went to see them. For research, of course. After all, he was a man of high moral standing. But when he arrived, what he saw shook him to the core. See, Pygmalion was a virgin, and sex, well, it
Lux has some spicy tales to tell, I see. Yeah, despite, I mean, through my travels, I've experienced a few very, very weird things. I could probably like gush multiple streams about like the weird things I experienced or witnessed or whatever. And on top of that, I do have quite a good memory of like stuff that happened. So like every little bit of weirdness is like Like, it doesn't matter if I talk about like the different kind of dreams I had. The things I actually like witnessed, like the brothel thing or the witch thing, or it's also just so weird saying this, like the brothel or the witch thing. Yeah, take this out of context. But I guess it's quite understandable why I became a tellteller, because I have witnessed so many weird tales myself already.
Was not like what he imagined. And it was then Pygmalion decided that he was having absolutely none of it. Nope, sexy time not
Witchy
for him. He would
brothel.
remain
Oh.
celibate forever. In fact, just to be safe, he should probably avoid women in all capacities forever. Oh,
What?
was having absolutely none of it. Nope, sexy time not for him. He would remain celibate forever. In fact, just to be safe, he should probably avoid women in all capacities forever. Oh, and he
Why do I need to think of this like the amount this and not these dude bros, those pseudo alpha people like fellas, is it gay? Is it gay to breathe? As about celibacy and abstinence.
he wouldn't go outside anymore either. You know,
Just avoiding women in general. Like, women are a myth, right? They don't really exist. Because
real mature adult decisions.
existing
Like
is
even
gay,
though he
yeah.
had sworn off
Because you choose to exist in a world with other men. I don't remember like the TikTok or whatever it was. It's so stupid.
anymore either. You know, real mature adult decisions. But even though he had sworn off women and took great lengths to avoid them totally in his daily life, he actually couldn't avoid them all. Because you see, every night he would dream of a very specific figure. She didn't have a name, but somehow he knew her. Every night, as exhaustion overtook Pygmalion's mind, she would appear from the dreamy mists, calling out to him not with words, but with a piercing look or a flick of her hand. And Pygmalion would follow, because with this mystery woman, for some reason, he was unafraid. In his dreams, he
I do know Shuan Head. I like watched a few videos and I'm pretty sure I know the ones you mentioned. It's actually like I do have a bit of a problem with like stuff I want to watch on stream because I already like know a lot of the videos that's at least more common to react streams. But maybe I do watch them eventually, but you know, just little information that I already watched those or something like this.
knew she
Same.
was perfect. So then, as you can imagine, every morning he'd wake in frustration, having to spend another day fearful of the outside and all of the scary real women who lived out there. To ease his sorrow,
Oh god, this is like I don't remember what they're called. Is this those cliche and yeah, no, the women are bad and that's where it came from. And yeah, let me guess, he then like sculpts the dream figure, a dream woman, and then just loves her because like an inanimate object that looks like a woman is very, very good company. Yes, of course.
he turned to his work.
Nothing new.
But even the meticulous
today's
planning
time.
of future statues and the intense precision of molding materials was not enough to distract him for long. Inevitably, Pygmalion's mind would drift towards the woman from his dreams as he chiseled the day away, the ivory slowly taking its shape. The next thing he knew, the sun was beginning to set. And it was then, under the orange glow of day's end, that suddenly he saw the perfect woman before him, carved in ivory. Pygmalion stared in amazement. She was ivory, right? After all, he didn't fully remember carving this, but if it was a real woman, oh no. He felt something stirring inside of him, a type of longing he didn't fully understand. So he collected himself and did the mature thing, hid from the statue and went to bed.
Oh, he did. Oh my god.
For once, he didn't dream. The next morning, the ivory figure was still exactly where he'd left it. He stared, more enraptured than he could have ever imagined, until... Wait, hold on. Did her arm just move? No, of course not. Trick of the light or something. Whew. So he moved her to a better vantage point. She really was something, he thought. More beautiful than any woman he'd ever known. And with it, wait, no, with her, well, maybe physical intimacy wouldn't be so bad.
No, no. I can't believe I need to say this, but do not have intimacy with a goddamn ivory statue. It's not a good idea. Trust me on that one.
Longingly, he reached out and touched her arm, surprised to find it softer than he imagined. And at this point, imagine he did. Eventually, he was so smitten with his statue that he leaned in and kissed it, fully expecting warm, soft lips, but that's still solid ivory. And upon feeling this hard physical rejection, Pygmalion
No, this time not. This time I do not. As if I could afford ivory, please. Maybe it's just my ears are bad, but I think you can turn the volume of the video a bit louder. Yeah, sure thing. No problem.
became ashamed. And upon feeling this hard physical rejection,
Better?
Pygmalion became ashamed. Oh, how stupid he'd been to think he could fall in love with anything, especially a statue. Fighting back tears, he yet again went to bed. But this night was not all sadness. Unbidden, the woman from his dreams, whom he'd carved in ivory, returned to him. And although she still said nothing, her presence alone was enough to rouse Pygmalion from his self-loathing until the morning light once again swept her away. Except she wasn't really gone, was she? Okay, this cycle of self-doubt would have to change. If he was going to pour his love into...
Dude, touch some grass. Really touch some... This guy needs to touch some grass badly. Oh my god.
He knew he would have to admit it. So starting today, he was gonna court her properly. So he pulled up a stool beside his inanimate love and began to recite platitudes. And then, when he thought she seemed to get bored of those, he started telling stories. Of course, whether she liked those more...
I bet my stories are better than his. God, what is happening in this video?
Couldn't really tell, on account of the still face. But Pygmalion honestly didn't mind. He just liked her company. But then when she didn't respond to even his funniest tales, he got a little discouraged. Not enough to stop, of course. Oh no. Instead, he then decided to shower the statue with gifts. He began decorating the statue with speckled shells, gems, and amber. No response. He offered rainbow birds in pretty cages. Still nothing. So he wiped the statue clean, and then, for the first time actually, became amazed at the nakedness of the ivory figure. Oh, wait, no, that made Pygmalion blush. He quickly wrapped her in a blanket, and upon stepping back, he found the material was much too coarse for the delicate, air quotes, skin. So instead, he dressed the statue in the latest fashions, adorned her hands with costly rings, and around her neck, he gave her a string of bright pearls. But even the white of those pearls seemed dull next to her ivory, air quotes, complexion, so eventually he removed it all once more and decided not to let anything mar her natural beauty. Then he took the statue and laid it on a couch. He propped her up with the finest pillows only of the highest thread count and offered her sweet nothings while caressing her. And when he finally worked up the nerve, he embraced her. And in that moment, everything felt right. Gripping tightly the ivory statue, Pygmalion's heart swelled. He was in love. At least he thought it was love? I mean, can you really be in love with the statue?
I wanted to say something, but no. Yes. No. Oh my god. So much for cozy, like really. Oh my god. Oh, the ancient Greeks were like a wild bunch. Oh my god. I never knew this story. It's great. It's really great.
Oh, Pygmalion couldn't be sure. But wait a minute. You know who does know about love? Aphrodite. So the next day he went to her temple to figure this whole thing out. Oh, goddess of love, he prayed. I think I'm ready. Please, send me... Before he could finish, doubt took hold. And once again, ashamed of the object of his love and his own needs.
I was like thinking he's now like start calling Aphrodite statue. Because like Aphrodite, for those who know, gets jealous quite easily if you say someone is more pretty than her. And yeah, How dare this statue? He thinks this statue is more pretty than anything else. I'll make my statue look more pretty for him.
Pygmalion rushed home, and once his eyes fell again upon his obsession, exactly where he'd left her, he dove onto the couch and embraced her and wait, what's this? He sprang up immediately as if stung. Cautiously, he reached out and prodded the statue again, and it felt softer than he'd remembered it. But he'd been fooled before, so this time he'd reach out with his whole hand and lightly squeeze the soft ivory. Oh god, he wasn't imagining it. The statue was indeed softer. Could it be true? Hardly daring to believe, Pygmalion ignored all reason, puckered up, and kissed the figure before him. And this time, as two pairs of soft lips met, the statue opened her eyes for the first time. For you see, Aphrodite had heard Pygmalion's unspoken prayers long before he ever stepped foot in her temple, and she had seen him shy away from the world and knew exactly what he'd longed for: love. But then, in the way Greek gods do, she decided to have a little fun with him first. Because really, how often do you get to see someone fall completely head over heels in love with the statue, right? But in the end, after her silliness had run its course, she took a little pity and literally made love a little less hard. Which, ties quite nicely into this episode's sponsor, Giveaway.
She did something nice. Actually, I really thought she would be, mean about it. Guess I misjudged her. I mean, great for Pygmalion, but, I still would try it. Like, cut the statue. Oh my god. Okay, so we can either watch another mythology one, or we can go to the Ghibli one. I think we go to the Ghibli one, and if there's still time and interest, we can maybe watch one or two more. Santa Claus would have been great a couple weeks ago. Doesn't matter. Let's go to the Ghibli one. I found this, so it's quite long, so it will probably be the last one. Let's see. It's a bit long. I watched 3 minutes of it yesterday and then decided, nope, that's probably more for the stream. And yeah, let's just see what this is about. But Ghibli succeeds where Disney fails. I don't know if any of you watched the more recent Disney movies. Also something I really, really liked back then. I think the last one I really watched was, I think it was Moana. I think Moana was the newest one I watched. I think.
Films or films that children should watch, we often think, when we think about kids' films or films that children should watch, we often think of Disney films. And there's a strong likelihood that most of you watching this video grew up with some level of Disney films in your childhood. But while they're often really fun and enjoyable, there is one major beef that I have.
I didn't ever watch Coco or Encanto. I don't know how to pronounce it. I heard they were good, but I never really got around to them. I'm also more decorate. Maybe I get around to them. I'm just I have a really soft spot in my heart for this more hand-drawn ones, here Hercules, the older ones. The 3D animated ones are nice too. The live action ones, we don't talk about the live action ones. The only exception for the live action one for me is the Mary Poppins one. It's all I think it's somewhere in the 19 whatever 1980 or whenever this came out, or even way before that. Mary Poppins is great though. The original one. Encanto's music is by Lin-Manuel Miranda. I have no idea who this is. Little fun fact about me, famous musicians or generally entertainers, famous people in general. I do not really know any of them. I know the ones that are very, very popular. I know Johnny Depp, I know Keanu Reeves, I know he did Hamlet the musical. I never saw that one either. I never saw that one either. did I ever really watch a musical? I think, the only musical I watched in my life was, I think it was Mamma Mia. This was like part of like school thingy that we like watched the musical and fell on this one. I don't remember the exact background anymore, but yeah. No, but I don't know him.
They never present a good picture of what the world should look like. Oftentimes, these films are loaded with lessons and morals for children to learn from, about being kind or being empathetic or heroic, but still, the eventual worldview they portray is always a negative one. It's always good versus evil, heroes versus villains, and the message they send to children is that the world is a hostile place to be feared. And I'll elaborate more in this video about what I mean. But that's why I want to talk to you about a film that deviates from all of that. A film so powerful that I truly believe it has the potential to change the world and how all of us view it. The Studio Ghibli Hayao Miyazaki masterpiece, Kiki's Delivery Service.
Really like it. The most Ghibli, I always say Ghibli. I pronounce it Ghibli. I don't know what's like the correct one. Little side question for those who are in chat here. What's your favorite Ghibli movie? Mine is the Castle in the Sky, Laputa. I really love this story. It's like I remember when I was young, I always wished like I was like Paku and basically go on this whole adventure. It was I often dreamed about it. I can very much remember it. And I do remember that Spirited Away, when I first saw it, I was so afraid of it. Especially of the scene where the parents turn into pigs when they were eating. I was so scared. But now I also like grown to love this movie very, very much. But yeah, my favorite is like Castle in the Sky. I do have a bit of hard time to remember the exact English titles for most of them because I did watch all of them or most of them in German. Actually, and in German they have different titles. I mean, for Kiki, it's Kiki's Delivery Service, or in German, it's Kiki's kleiner Lieferservice, so Kiki's small delivery service. So it's basically the same. Hamilton is one of the handful musicals I know, Les Miserables and Sweeney Todd. I have heard of Les Miserables, but Sweeney Todd, I've never heard of it. I haven't watched any of them. Howl's Moving Castle. Spirited Mononoke, yeah. There's also like the Kingdom or Cat's Kingdom or something. It's also like something I've always thought. It's not my favorite, but I always thought it was very funny, like with the walking cats. They're all great, yeah. They're all so great. At some point, I really want to like do like a Ghibli marathon of different movies, but none of my friends ever like agreed to it. So, and I don't want to do it alone. Maybe at some point I'll find someone. But The Cat Returns is the English title. Thank you, Heidi. Thank you. Yeah, as I said, I'm like, I don't know most of the English titles because in German, The Cat's Return is called Das Königreich der Katzen, so the Kingdom of the Cats. It's completely different. I don't know why they do this, but not Ghibli, but also a great anime movie is Your Name. I always wanted to watch it. I never got around to it. I do not watch a lot of movies and series. It's one I really want to watch at some point. Maybe I'll do it soon. I rarely watch movies or series, at least nowadays, because I always have like the mindset, I need to do something. And just like watching a movie or series, no matter how good it is, it's just like, I just sit there and watch despite nothing being wrong with it. It's just like my brain being weird. And I really only do it when I'm like sick or something, which I'm thankfully not often. I cried so hard. Yeah, I personally do cry very rarely, but movies like this or like the anime Angel Beats at the ending, boy, that's where I cry too. Like I think it's basically impossible not to cry unless you have like not paid any attention to those movies. I always get quite choked up on the end of many of the Ghibli movies too, because they always like have more of a bittersweet ending sometimes, and yeah, I just love the stories behind it very very much. Your name was great. I liked Weathering with You a bit better. Basically, all the same storyline. I see. I have to like watch a lot of movies at some point, especially or at least a lot of anime movies.
The reason I want to talk to you about this film is because it does something that I think so few films do. It shows us what a good and kind world would look like. We often reject the idea of a fundamentally nice world as naive, unrealistic. That's understandable, but I also think it's wrong. I think the reason we think like this is that we struggle to imagine what that world would look like.
Okay, that was okay. I didn't watch that. I didn't watch like 3 minutes. I watched until this point, and this is like the point where I stopped watching the video. So from here it's blind, and about this point he just mentioned about like us thinking that like a world without any negative is like naive and unrealistic. It might be true, but it's actually like the way I think personally too. Like, yeah, it might be naive. It might be unrealistic to think like that. But it doesn't make it like bad thing to want it. And like that's like it would be like the perfect thing. Like even if it's naive to think that this is realistic in any way, I still at least try to it sounds stupid saying this, but like try to act my part to actually try to at least show others that people can be kind, people can be nice. I don't like being like mean or anything. Like I never understood why people are mean to each other really, or angry or whatever. I'm quite naive thinking that way, and I do realize that very very few people think like that. And to that extent, I do at least. Many would wish it, but I met my fair share of people knowing that there are quite a lot that unfortunately don't think like that. But it is kind of funny, but because sometimes you can really surprise them with it. That if you are almost naively nice to them and genuinely naively nice, might I add, that they're a bit thrown off by it. They cannot imagine that someone's actually like that. And I do remember, it sounds so stupid, that people, I actually had people unironically saying to me on multiple occasions that I'm too nice to them, which, I mean, I don't know if this like thing with like depression or something, but it's how I genuinely am, and some people cannot really comprehend this, that someone is just trying to be genuinely nice, which is very very sad in my opinion. So yeah, I feel kind of weird like saying this. Oh yeah, I'm so nice and yada yada yada, but it's at least how I see myself. I can only hope all the time that I actually come across as nice as I hope I come across. It's at least what I'm aiming to be. So yeah, generally, if you actually like would see me ever like insulting someone, I mean that's like most definitely a sign that I'm extremely this is like a thing that happens once a decade, annoyed by something, or I've been hacked or something, replaced by AI or whatever. I cannot even like really dislike people. The worst thing I can do is like, yeah, ignore them. It's like my highest extent of not liking the person. Just not uh, what's the word? Just not just ignoring them basically. And yeah, I'm a bit naive in this regard. I know it, but I kind of want to be. Someone has to be.
See so few representations of it on our screens. In fact, we're more quick to accept pictures of broken dystopian worlds where everyone is horrible.
I like to use really obscure insults when I'm frustrated at people. I will call them a moldy orange or something. Yeah, it is also like something I do in German, especially. It's just like it's disgusting, but technically not the swear word. Yeah, that's also like something I try to do. Um, often also in English when I swear, I try instead of saying like fuck, I would probably like, more often say fudge or something, unless I'm like tired or like actually agitated. I think especially in German though, it's like it's very easy to like make these very obscure insults to someone. For me, it's also really hard to get angry, but insulting for fun is a different thing. Yeah, I don't mind if someone insults me for fun, and but those as long as I know, like Ray, if you would do this to me, I wouldn't mind because I know you don't mean it. But I personally do it very rarely as well because I just don't like to do it. But I don't mind if others do it, really. But just a me thing.
Then we are in accepting a world where everyone is just trying to be a good person. If everyone is horrible, then we are in accepting a world where everyone is just trying to be a good person. So I want to change all of that by talking.
I will call them alte schimmlige Mandarine, no problem. I like it, especially like with in Austria specifically, where I'm from. There are also very creative ways of, especially creative ways to insult people because you can like say absolute nonsense and it works. Like, if you say "Du angrenzender Boston" or something, it's like you run up against a post or whatever. I learned some fun English insults like cockwobble. I think I heard that one before somewhere. I don't remember where, but I remember this word. I heard it somewhere. It's definitely like something deeply British. It's either British or Aussie, like Australian. Either one of them.
To you about Kiki's Delivery Service, the Studio Ghibli film that shows us what the world might be like if we were all just a little bit nicer.
God, we're not even through the intro yet. Oh my god.
Kiki's Delivery Service follows the journey of a young witch named Kiki, who's reached an age of maturity where it is customary for witches like her to set off on a sort of pilgrimage. In this journey, witches are supposed to leave home and find a new town.
I have a friend in North Germany, apparently, what Otterfuts is an affectionate term. Yeah. This uni professor called it so. Okay. That I have also like people in northern Germany, like acquaintances and friends. But that one I never heard. That's great. That's
village
really
to
great.
settle in and provide some sort of benefit or service to their new community. After deciding to settle in a bustling city, Kiki experiences various highs and lows, makes new friends, struggles, loses her magic, and then rediscovers it, along with a renewed sense of self. The film's climax sees her save her friend in a daring rescue, much to the joy of the entire town, who are watching this dramatic event unfold and marvel at what an amazing person Kiki is. Now I want to get right into analyzing the film, so I'll just set out that there are 4 distinct points I want to make about Kiki's Delivery Service that are the reasons why I think it's so wonderful, and also show what we can learn from the film, both as viewers, but also what filmmakers and
you know, we're watching a really nice stuff, but kind of like stuff like Otterfots and Fickfish. What the hell? What the heck? And I even find it funny too.
also show what we can learn from the film, both as viewers.
I really know why I get along with you two specifically very much, I think.
But also what filmmakers and storytellers can learn. The first point is a simple one: a loving, supportive community. At this point, I want to acknowledge something that a lot of you may be thinking right now. Hey, I've seen kind worlds in kids shows and animated films, and indeed, children's media exists, like Paw Patrol, shows targeted at little kids below the age of 10, and then there's also what we might call family films, like what Disney produces, which are meant to be lighthearted, positive experiences for the whole family. But even these things fall into traps using stereotypes and tropes that still portray the world as a hostile place where good and evil battle it out. and I'll be talking throughout the video about what these tropes are. Let's talk first about families and support systems. In Disney princess stories, for example, almost all our heroines come from a somewhat broken home. They almost never have mothers present, with most of them being long dead, and although they always say they love their fathers, their dads are almost always a huge source of friction in their life that inevitably causes them to run away from home.
Me too. I really love them. I wish they would do this again. Like, the only recent movie that I watched that has something of this charm is like the movie Klaus, like the Christmas movie. It's like there's all hell thrown, but like with CGI they put shaders over it or something. If you've never watched it on Netflix, Klaus, I can really recommend it. It's like, personal opinion, it's an absolute masterpiece of an animated movie, like of a Christmas movie, and I watch it every year on Christmas. Oh, Mulan. Mulan. Klaus was it's so beautiful. It's like I watched it the first time, like I think 3 years ago when it just came out, and since then I watch it every Christmas. I watch it every Christmas, and I always love it again. It's such a beautiful movie. It got humor, it got good morals, it beautiful animation style, it got everything I want in a good movie. Nah, not like that. Don't put me out of context. It's not like I meant. It's like, that's what I want to say. I really like. What's my favorite Disney movie though? Really, like Mulan is definitely up there. Really like it. I mean, like this bit newer ones, like Tangled and Frozen are also quite nice. But I guess maybe it's my favorite is probably either Mulan or Hercules. I guess either one of those. Lion King is also great, of course. Like Lion King is a classic, an absolute classic. But I think I still do prefer Hercules and Mulan slightly over it. Slightly only. Like also Aladdin is great. Beauty and the Beast. It's been so long since I watched it. Hercules had the best music, yeah, especially with the muses at the beginning and everything. Zero to hero. It's great. It's absolutely great. Also Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, the original one. Also like absolute classic. Hi ho, it's off to work we go. I could gush so much about it. They're the more obscure one. It's like not also like Treasure Planet and Anastasia or something. Lexker. Oh God, do you really want it? I cannot really sing. I cannot really sing. I do like sing, but I cannot really sing. So sorry you had to witness this though. Faster to sing about one day this all belongs to you. Not the water though. That belongs to Nestle. Oh God. Damn it, Trey. Oh God damn it.
Jasmine runs away from the palace, which is when she meets Aladdin. Ariel and Pocahontas defy their fathers to fall in love with foreign men.
Pocahontas also a very, very beautiful movie. But one particular song, the Savages song, oh my God. Like this is if you would release the movie today, oh my God, like social media would blow up. Like this is, oh my God, you couldn't do this. And what I heard from Pocahontas, like the Savage song, it actually got like censored or not censored or like altered before releasing the first time because the very first version of it was even harsher And yeah,
Moana runs away.
oh, excuse me. I couldn't release it today anymore.
Ariel and Pocahontas defy their fathers to fall in love with foreign men. Moana runs away in defiance
Moana is
of
also
both her
great.
parents to set off on her journey, and so on. While the familial systems in these films are often meant to be seen as loving, they are very rarely supportive. And more than anything, they are oppressive forces for our main characters, trying to make them become something they're just not. Now, that's not to say that broken homes don't exist, or that all parents are always loving and supportive at all times. But remember, we're talking about kind worlds, and it's hardly a great message to send to little kids that they should expect their parents to be completely oblivious to their personal desires, and in fact, make them harder to achieve. I find it to be a very outdated image of what a parent is or should be. Someone who's more concerned about fulfilling their own desires vicariously through their children, rather than caring about what their child actually wants. Now let's take a look at Kiki's delivery service by contrast. We start the film with Kiki listening to a radio broadcast about the upcoming good weather and deciding that tonight will be the best night for her to set off on her journey. Her parents are not yes men or passive agents. When she comes to them with this proposal, they don't just take Kiki's words at complete face value and blindly accept everything that she's saying. Both parents are in fact initially not so sure about this idea. Kiki's mother feels that the decision is sudden, and she's not sure.
Side note, those Disney dads. Heidi, do you wanna like confess something? Who do you have a crush on? It's like Disney dad, something similar to Pixar moms, or I mean, many of them are like quite muscular, but yes, so I don't judge. I don't judge. I mean, can't be worse than a dude that tried to do it with the statue before. So this is probably like the more harmless thing here. I gotta say though, I never really had like, also like back when I was young, I never had like a childhood crush or anything on like the movies or like the Disney movies and whatever I watched. Never really had it. I don't know. I like many of the characters, yes, but I never like had like a crush. Something maybe I did have a crush and I just didn't realize it, but I don't know. No, not Ursula. No, no. It's like absolute opposite. That's like absolute opposite. I'm not a masochist. Oh God, Cruella. Yeah, of course. I had a crush on the woman that like wanted to like kill a bunch of little puppies for a coat. Of course. Yeah, that kind of guy. I mean, that's now the truth is out. Trina was pretty hot, attractive, not gonna lie. Also, the deer dad from Bump. Really? Okay, yeah, his okay voice. Okay, voice is something completely different. But please, I mean, I know you're a cow, but I don't think it's compatible with like deers. Please leave the deers alone. No, but I get it, especially like with voice and everything. This can like change a lot of things. I also like I heard of from a bunch of people that they were really into Nala from The Lion King.
Or if tonight is really the best night. Kiki's father had planned a camping trip with the family and is disappointed at the idea of canceling the bonding experience. But here's the key difference. They are both supportive. They trust Kiki enough to feel that if she's making a decision, she's making it for a reason. They have faith in their daughter's mind and her abilities, and ultimately,
Mufasa and Bambi's dad had no reason to have such hot voice actors. Yeah.
they trust that if she's been raised
They
correctly,
knew what they were
she
doing.
will make wise choices. So to that end, Kiki's mother begins to sew and prepare Kiki's outfit and suitcase. Kiki's father immediately calls around the neighborhood to organize a going-away party for her that very night. They show their daughter affection and verbally tell her how much they cherish and love her and will miss her dearly. And it doesn't just stop with her family. When that going away party begins, Kiki's entire community is there to support her. They all reminisce on seeing her grow up and how they'll miss her presence in the village. Kiki's friends are all incredibly excited for her and even joke about how much fun they think she'll have. Not a single person in the entire party is a naysayer. Or to put it more directly, no one is a hater. It's not uncommon for a scene like this.
Should I like stop here a bit for you, Heidi?
More directly, no one is a hater. It's not
You like this? It's not most flattering pose, but I mean, unrelated to Disney, but VA Matt Mercer as Ganon Daddy. Ganon Daddy? Should I know this? Ganondorf. Oh yeah, I thought, does this have something to do with like Ganondorf? Daddy. We got about a few thirsty people in the chat right now. Oh my god. Oh, but I don't just think it's a bit funny.
Uncommon for a scene like this, even in a
I
kid's
still
movie.
need to finish Tears of the Kingdom. I've never finished it.
No one is a hater. It's not uncommon for a scene like this, even in a kid's movie, to feature at least one or two characters who are fundamentally not looking out for the protagonist's best interest. Someone who is jealous, or someone who's just a bit miserable and casts serious doubt on our hero's capability. Are you sure? I don't think you'll be able to handle it. Going away on your own is scary. They would put in the protagonist's mind some sort of existential fear that they would dwell on and would make them doubt themselves. And
I mean, Zelda is not my favorite Nintendo IP, but it's up there. Yeah, just so much to explore. And to go back to the video a bit, what he was saying that, like, now that I think about it, yes, in basically all Disney movies, they're like, it's basically like the same concept that like the father says, yeah, you can't do this, and kind of bad at finishing games. Yeah, especially the long games. I get it, especially if you can like have a lot to explore. Jafar was such a hater, but he was hilarious. He's basically like human Scar from The Lion King. Yeah. But by the way, isn't it kind of mean that everybody calls him Scar? Like, was he born with that name? I don't think he was. So just everybody just mockingly calls him Scar. I mean, I kind of understand why he went mad. At some point, if you constantly make fun of that, you have like a scar on your face. Kind of mean, really. I don't know if it's like, I don't think it's something worth killing your own brother about and blaming it on his son, but still. His birth name is, yeah, Taka, right, thank you. That means trash, it's like, oh my god, okay, I did not know that. Oh my god, yeah, no wonder he became a villain. Absolutely no surprise here. Like, absolutely no surprise here. Mufasa means king. Yeah, it's like basically you know what which one was the favorite child here. Like from the beginning. Oh my god. I think I heard somewhere that Mufasa means king and then couldn't remember it though, so thanks. But I didn't know that Taka was like, that mean trash. And, you know, I guess from like, if you call trash, I guess Scar. Oh god. Meet my son's king and trash can. Oh. It's great. Yeah, that's what I want to say. Like, if you're called like literally trash, I guess Scar is definitely an upgrade. Still quite mean, but you know, I guess I would prefer to be called Scar to. Oh no. Oh, this gets so much worse.
Worry if they're good.
It gets so much worse.
But no, this is not a place or a film where hatefulness is a factor in people's minds or hearts. It's a loving, supportive community.
Oh yeah, what I wanted to say, I got distracted by like trash can, Scar trash can. I never really thought about it now, but now that he mentioned it in the video, that yeah, in the Disney movies, the parents always tend, at least in the older ones, the parents always tend to be more negative about the things. Like, you can't do it. It's too dangerous. They're not really supportive. It's true. Like, compared to if you take Kiki's parents here, they're really supportive. They're not blind yes sayers, how he said, but they're supportive parents. And for the others, I mean, I guess Moana's mother was kind of supportive, but still, and the new ones too. Okay, so they also like shifted to this. I mean, it sends a better message. I guess I really like need to watch the newer ones. I think. Yeah, but he's absolutely right. So this sends like a way more positive message without being ridiculous. It's like, yeah, you have supportive. It shows that you might not entirely like the idea of this little girl like going out. On the other hand, you have like Pokemon where basically kicked out with 10 years old and like just a wild animal and a ball. But this is like really a nice supportive parent.
Where everyone's first thought is, how can I help and support the people around me? Now, I'm not saying that you're not going to have people who dislike you, people who might even wish for your downfall, but those people shouldn't be a part of your regular community. Those are not the people who you should be choosing to surround yourself with. And I also want to emphasize
Disney kind of follows the typical Western narrative of storytelling, similar to old Grimm's fairy tales. Eastern Asian storytelling, especially in Japanese animation, is normally more family oriented and not so heavy on romance or blatant romance. Love stories are more subtle and or ambiguous. Yeah, I guess it's also why it's actually true. So that you mention it, I never really thought about it that way. I guess it kind of explains why I like anime more often than like Western kind of things. Not all though. There are definitely some that are not that ambiguously love stories. But yeah, especially for like Ghibli movies, yes, definitely. It puts more emphasis on being nice, family oriented. It's absolutely true. Absolutely.
this doesn't mean that no one around Kiki has any doubts or disagreements with her. Kiki's mother, for example, questions the broom that Kiki wants to fly on. Kiki made the broom herself and is clearly very proud of it, but it's far too small. So her mother gently tells her that while the broom is really cute, Kiki should start on a bigger broom. Kiki protests at this idea, but then the old lady, who we saw earlier being helped by Kiki's mother, convinces her that Kiki can always make her own broom once she finds a new town, but should use this one for the important journey tonight. To this, Kiki begrudgingly agrees and takes the broom before her parents set her off on her journey. So as a foundation point, when I think of a kind world, this is what I would want to see. Communities where there is mutual trust and respect. Kiki's parents trust her decisions and give her the space to decide her own life. In turn, she respects that if they're insistent on something, it must be for good reason, and she listens to the wiser, more experienced people around her when appropriate. Now, I can already imagine some people are thinking, well, this just isn't realistic. But again, I'd like to remind you about what I said at the start of the video. We struggle to accept things that we don't have a clear mental image of, or things that feel foreign to us.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. It might be unrealistic for us to think that this could happen, but who cares? I would wish we all would live in a world like this, where everybody's more supportive and nice to each other. I want to live in this kind of world. So why dismiss it as unrealistic? Can at least try to act a part, or try to make it a little bit and do our part to like not change the world, but just be nice to each other. Make it just a bit of the feeling.
We more readily accept a world where every family is broken and kids frequently run away from home, like they do in Disney movies.
Yeah. At least we can dream about it. We shouldn't let our dreams get like, it's unrealistic. It's naive. It's no. If you want to live in a kind of world, if that's what you truly want, then never stop believing in it, never stop dreaming about it. And I'm pretty sure that in some places you can actually be surprised by it. That people can be kinder than they might even think themselves. Of course, like, don't fall for any, like, if someone obviously is trying to take advantage of your kindness. Fortunately, you need to be wary of this, but we should all just per default think that the world can be kinder. We really believe in it. Should not become delusional, but it never hurt to hope and dream about it. Opinion.
Now, these things exist, but what percentage of children in the real world actually run away from home? Very few. And yet, we never doubt that as an unrealistic image. But so many people are blessed with loving, supportive communities where mutual trust is the order of the day. And yet, when we think about it as something that could become the norm, our gut instinct is to reject it as unrealistic, even when it's not. Even when we know, in fact, it is very real. Because we're so conditioned by media to view the world as operating via hostility, via an us versus them mentality.
Yes,
we'll
that's
talk
true.
more about that in our third section, but first, I want to stick more on the theme of positivity.
And just little, I mean, I absolutely agree with him saying, but little side note, can we just, especially in Ghibli movies, how delicious the food looks. Like the bread here. Oh my god, I want to eat it all. It looks so good. And like in House Moving Castle, the dishes and generally everywhere in especially Ghibli movies. It looks so goddamn delicious. I wanna eat it all. And anime food in general. Oh, that reminds me, Ghibli, like there's like a game series, I think it's Nino Kuni, it's called, that was created in cooperation with Ghibli. It's like a JRPG kind of game. I like started playing it but never finished it. Maybe I will play this in a stream in the future too. It is actually on my list already, I think. Might eventually like play this. It's, if for those who don't know, it's like really the Disney the Ghibli style. I've seen a bit played by Gronk. Yeah, I've seen a little bit, but too. Encam's to cooking stream. Actually, I don't know if I ever talked about it, but I actually very much like to cook. Like I do cook. I do cook not that often because I live alone and I can't, especially after work, often can't just be bothered because I'm too exhausted. But I make a habit of at least cook once or twice on the weekend. And maybe if at some point, maybe I will do a cooking stream. Same here. Yeah. I grew up in a household where I had a family member who was a cook. Especially since you live alone, what do you eat all week? So it depends. Like before, I try to make like I cook every day. If you can manage that and everything, that's great. I wish I could cook every day. I have the energy, but especially if I like had like 9 hours in the office where I constantly had to like help people with their problems. Like context, I don't stream. I work in the IT department, and that I just no brain capacity to do anything anymore, really. But yeah, when it comes to eating, like especially in the last years, last 2 years, I ordered a lot of takeout, but in the last 2 months, I reduced it quite a bit because, you know, I mean, as nice as ordering like pizza or sushi is, it's at some point it gets dull. It gets absolutely dull. So I try to cook like once or twice a week. Often it's something simple, like today when I got home, I like bought pre-made pizza dough and like made my own pizza sauce and just like made a simple pizza in the oven. Still have like half of it. I'll probably eat it after the stream or maybe tomorrow. Don't know yet. Other than that, mostly like simple dishes. Just throw stuff in the pot. I do cook a lot of Italian food. Like I often make like carbonara, original carbonara, not the one where we actually put cream in it, but actually you use egg yolk, pecorino, and I rarely get guanciale and often substitute it with normal like speck or bacon. But yeah, stuff like this. Stuff that's mostly done in like an hour. And I often do cook like a big batch. What I also do often do, if any of you notice, is knödel, like semmelknödel, so bread dumplings. I usually cook a big pot of chili con carne or curry. Lasts for 1 or 2 weeks. See, my problem here is I cannot eat the same food for more than 3 days in a row because I absolutely get sick of it after that. I once made a huge pot of risotto, and this was like 2 or 3 years ago, and I ate from it like a week. And to this day, I can still not eat any risotto because I'm still completely sick of it. How baking, I never got that much into baking. I always wanted to try it, but never really got around it. Lemon cheesecake in the oven. Oh my god, I love lemon cake. Oh, why are you telling me this? Oh, Heidi, you're so cruel. Oh no. I really like lemon cakes. Oh, oh. Why? I'm actually jealous right now. Yeah, I'm trying to mix. Yeah, but you know, like simple recipes. What's also like a bit of a limiting factor for me is I have a rather small kitchen at the moment, and I actually currently looking into moving into a bigger apartment, with especially with a bigger kitchen. But yeah, finding an apartment is sometimes a bit, yeah, takes time. It's expensive, but hopefully soon. Hopefully soon. I'm already looking for like half a year. I have no hurry though, so if I'm looking for something, I want it to be like something I want to stay in for like multiple years. But yeah,
On the theme of positivity as we discuss our next point of how kindness brings about more kindness.
this kind of reminds me of the quote of the movie Klaus. A truly selfless act always sparks another. I really like this saying, and basically the same here.
Now, we've just spoken about how great it would be to strive for us all to have loving, supportive communities. But what about strangers and people who don't know you? Well, Kiki's delivery service has a great picture for us here, too, and it can be summed up with the following sentiment: kindness begets kindness. It's not uncommon to view strangers as people to be viewed with suspicion, and if not active mistrust, then at least guardedness. This is understandable for many reasons, but Kiki shows us that even within that framework, we can still be kind to those we've just met, and when we are, it creates a kinder world in turn. There are countless interactions in the film that Kiki has with strangers where either she or they initiate with kindness, and there are even a few where a negative interaction becomes positive because of Kiki's kindness. Let's start first with just the nice people. Perhaps the most significant of these is Osono, the sweet, pregnant baker who gives Kiki a place to stay and acts like a mother figure for her, enabling her delivery business and guiding her through various challenges. It'd be easy to point to Osono and say that there's no reason for her to be this nice, or to attribute her favors for Kiki to a maternal instinct, saying that her pregnancy makes her want to look out for this kid. But I think there's a much deeper reason than that. I think it comes down to a sort of karmic instinct in the world of Kiki's delivery service. When Kiki first meets Osono, she's walking past the bakery and watches an interaction take place where a customer leaves her baby's pacifier at the shop. She notices that Osono, a stranger, is trying and failing to return the pacifier to this customer, whose baby will no doubt be upset when it wakes up. This is a key moment, and to borrow a term from another great animated film, we can call it a canon event. If Kiki was not herself a kind person, she could ignore what's happening before her. After all, it's none of her business. She could choose to do nothing here. But altruistically, Kiki offers to deliver the pacifier to the customer. When Osuno agrees, she takes the pacifier and flies it down to the woman, impressing Osuno with both her kindness and her magical powers in the process. Kiki returns with a note from the customer, who in turn thanks Osuno. And we can see how this one little interaction creates a ripple effect. One choice from Kiki to help a stranger for no reason other than just to be nice results in more kindness being created as a consequence. The customer is happier, her baby is saved from crying, and in return, Osuno wants to repay Kiki for her help. The two of them sit down for some coffee, and after their conversation, Osuno offers to take Kiki in and help her start her business. What's really powerful about this interaction as well is that it comes at a time when Kiki is actually struggling and feeling very low. She's just gotten to the city recently and had a fair few negative encounters. She nearly causes a car crash, gets told off by a police officer, and then she gets refused by a hotel when she wants to rent a room. We'll talk about all these things in the next section, but the overall effect is that the enthusiasm Kiki has for her journey is quickly washed away. She loses her appetite and wanders the city dejected, causing Gigi to suggest that they find a different city, somewhere nicer. That's when Osuno enters the scene, and this little incident plays out. Afterwards, Osuno shows Kiki to her new room, dusty and dingy, but finally a place to call home. As she settles in, Gigi's still unconvinced and wants to find another town. But Kiki says the following: "I've decided to stay a while. Maybe I can find others like Osuno who will like me and accept me for what I am." This is a theme throughout the film. Sometimes Kiki has kindness done to her, sometimes she initiates it for others. But the overall message of the movie remains the same, that each time you do good, the world becomes a slightly kinder, softer place. One person.
Absolutely true. Like, oh, if you can do a small kindness to someone, you always should. Always should. Not to hope for a benefit, but just because it's the right thing to do. And plus, it's always a nice feeling to help someone.
Person's kindness passes on to another person, who in turn passes it to a third, until before you realize it, you've molded the world in a positive way. Your actions as an individual can and do make the world better for everyone. This rule applies everywhere in the film. For example, Kiki's first customer, who's a fashionable woman that Kiki has been admiring from afar, and we'll talk more about her in our final section. When she asks Kiki how much she'll charge for her delivery, Kiki doesn't know because she hasn't planned it out yet. But rather than take advantage of this and try to lowball Kiki, the fashionable lady.
I'm a big believer in karma, so these are really good values to display in a movie. Yes. I'm not necessarily believe or not believe in karma, but I just think you should do nice things to make others happy. If it's in some way you eventually get something good back, the better, but just do something good to make others happy. That's my way of thinking.
He gives her a very generous fee, which Kiki remarks is beyond good enough for the job. This in turn motivates Kiki to work even harder for this lady, whose kindness she doesn't want to betray. Of course, this is the delivery that goes wrong, and Kiki ends up losing the toy she was meant to deliver. So she has to switch Gigi in as a decoy while she buys time to recover the real toy. But even here, and even with animals, the kindness that Kiki puts out earlier finds its way back to her. Jeff the dog catches on to what's happening, that Gigi is a real cat and not a toy. But while Gigi is initially nervous that the dog might eat or hurt him, it eventually comes to be that Jeff, the kindly old canine, protects him. He takes Gigi for himself to protect him from the reckless kid who he's meant to be a gift for. The child's family even remarks that Jeff has taken a shine to the toy and they let him keep it. And only when Jeff senses Kiki is nearby does he quietly sneak Gigi out and return him to Kiki. Gigi remarks that he was saved by this noble dog, and Kiki thanks him, hands him the real toy, and he quietly returns back inside, with the family being none the wiser about what's just happened.
Aww,
Again, he
I
has
was
no
like this
reason
scene.
to do this for Gigi, who is a complete stranger to him. But the instinct of kindness is universal. Everything in the world of Kiki's has a karmic force to it, even the animals. When Kiki is nice, she brings more niceness back to her from the entire world around her. The other strongest example of this happening comes with a character who we'll call the Madam. This is a wealthy elderly woman who initially calls on Kiki to deliver a pie for her, but when Kiki arrives at her house, the woman informs her that regrettably, she can't get her oven working, so she won't be able to bake the pie she meant for Kiki to deliver. Again, this brings us to an impasse. In a different movie, this could just be end of this interaction, but the old lady, being as sweet as she is, instructs her maid Bertha to pay Kiki in full for having dragged her all the way down here for nothing. Kiki now has a choice. She could easily take this money and go about her day. After all, she's broke and busy. But feeling a sense of justice and moral responsibility, she says that she would like to pay the madam back in some way. So she starts by doing a bunch of chores around the house that the aging maid Bertha was struggling with, and then after that, Kiki helps the madam make her olden-style oven work, feeding it with some wood and lighting the fire to have it bake the old-fashioned way. Kindness once more in this film brings about more kindness in turn. Both Kiki and the madam create a system where they're constantly extending a hand of love out to each other, and later on in the film, the madam bakes Kiki a lovely cake in thanks for all she's done for her. In essence, she and her maid Bertha become fans of Kiki, and later on, we even see them rooting for her as they watch her daring rescue on television.
My model
They,
glitched out a bit.
like so many other people in this town, can't help but be drawn to and want the best for someone who is at their core trying their best to be a kind person. The final incident I want to bring up in this section is one that actually starts off negative. When Kiki first sets off on her journey, she runs into another young witch who is nearing the end of her pilgrimage. Right off the bat, we can tell this girl is a bit stuck up and full of herself, treating Kiki quite coldly. She tells Kiki to turn off her music while she brags about her own skills as a witch. But rather than let this be a negative interaction, Kiki treats this witch with kindness and respect. She could have chosen to be snarky back to create an atmosphere of hostility, but she asks the witch for advice and expresses her own worries candidly. In return, the other witch changes how she responds as well and shares her own feelings more candidly about the town she lives in. Then,
She
as
was
she's
a
heading off,
hater, yeah.
she actually wishes Kiki the best of luck on her adventures. And what could have been
But I think it shows that if someone is a hater, if you approach them with kindness, there's a good possibility that, might be kind back towards you. Maybe they're just not used to it. Maybe they're just unintentionally a bit stuck up. I think in most cases, it's one of those. Sometimes people are, unfortunately, just a bit unpleasant to deal with, but I want to believe that this is the rarest case.
an interaction where both girls come away with distaste for each other ends with both of them wishing each other well. This is a message that's as important as what we spoke about earlier. Being kind to each other is vitally important, and it does create a better world. But we should extend that kindness even when the other person doesn't start off showing it. It's easy to be nice to nice people, but true courage comes in the ability to change the hearts of those who approach us with skepticism by showing them that kindness is an option. Very few people should be written off as evil and unreachable. And this leads us well
just
to
what
what
I
I want
said.
to talk about
Just
in
what
our
I
next
said.
section, which is another thing that Kiki's delivery service does so well. It avoids portraying people as evil. Now, this point, I
You're not
don't
even
think I'll
halfway
need
through
to
the video.
convince you very strongly on, because we all know that almost every film out there, and especially family-friendly films, love relying on the idea of good versus evil. There's almost always some awful villainous figure who is scheming and plotting against the hero, who
But fun fact, I think quite a few know this, because it was showing Hades from like Hercules. As much as I like the movie, the portrayal of Hades is absolutely wrong, according to most stories of Greek mythology. Hades was apparently according to the mythology, quite a nice and fair person, and quite compassionate even. Not like angry and wanting to overthrow the Olympus and whatever.
who by contrast is largely an innocent angel.
But the Hercules movie is generally not that correct when it comes to the portrayal of the actual Greek mythology. Yeah, the story. I mean, there are a few things, a few versions of the story with Persephone where he apparently abducted her, but most of them it's more nice than everything, and the fact that her mother Demeter, I think, wanted not to give Persephone to Hades, but they actually like fell in love, and it's very nice. Also, little side note, because it's called Hercules. Hercules is actually the Roman name. It should actually be called Heracles. Little fun fact on the side note.
Undeserving of such treatment. The plot of such a film generally involves our hero struggling against the various minions and machinations that the villain sends after them until they finally face down the big bad guy, defeat them, and everything becomes perfect. Now, Disney is notorious for this, but even media meant for little kids uses tropes like this. Take Paw Patrol, for example, which, despite being about cute puppies, features the antagonist of Mayor Humdinger, a mustache-twirling bad guy who our heroes have to overcome repeatedly. Even toddlers are taught from a very early...
Typical Western storytelling. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Can I just say, I mean, I know, Paw Patrol, whatever. I really don't like the style, the art style. Looks so soulless, I think. My opinion. Yeah, I mean, it's, as a typical, as Heidi said, typical Western storytelling. Absolutely. I mean, it doesn't need to be necessarily bad, but a bit more variety would probably good in every culture.
age that there are people out there we should hate because they're villains. When my 6-year-old niece, who loves the show, wants to play, one of her parents will become Mayor Humdinger and tell her that they're gonna catch her, and she would delight in bringing down the evil mayor. Especially in Western media, we're almost incapable of telling stories without someone being evil, or at the very least,
Yes.
being bad or at fault. Someone always needs to take the blame for why our hero is suffering.
Jafar was just such a creep.
And it's only when we shift the misery onto that person can we finally be happy. If they're defeated, banished, killed, only then can the rest of us be happy. That's pretty messed up, and ironically, quite unrealistic.
True.
While yes,
True.
there are people in the world who are evil and doing harm to others, and we live in a time where people like this are more visible than ever, they are the exception to the rule. Most people are not like this. Most people are not villains out for evil. They're just normal people going about their lives who sometimes make mistakes and sometimes get in the way of each other.
Very
That's
true.
why I love how Kiki's Delivery Service handles conflict. There are no villains in Kiki's Delivery Service. There isn't even anyone you could say was malicious. All the negative things that happen to Kiki, and there are still plenty, are either chance events or things that no one can really be blamed for. The elements are a hindrance quite a few times, like when Kiki starts her journey and the weather gets so rough that she's forced to take shelter in a train. Another time, a gust of wind throws her off track en route to her first job, causing her to lose the toy she was meant to deliver. The toy then gets stuck with some crows, who think Kiki is trying to steal their eggs and shoo her away. And then the rain gets her another time when she's delivering the pie for the kind old lady. Now that's not the film saying that the weather is frequently going to ruin our lives, although as someone who lives in grey and rainy England, it certainly isn't my best friend either. The elements and nature are just metaphors for things happening that send us off the path that we thought we'd be on. It represents unexpected circumstances that cause us challenges in life. And truthfully, this is what we battle so often in our lives. Things just not going our way and making things extra difficult for us, rather than direct conflict with evil people. Now there are still moments when Kiki's conflicts are interpersonal, which is to say it's other people causing her trouble. And I really want to break these down because I think they're done in such a beautiful, human way. And that's because in all these occasions we'll talk about, no one in the situation is unjustified in their behavior. Let's start with Kiki's first entrance to the city that she eventually...
It's true. They could have totally done it like, oh yes, she's a witch, so she solves everything with magic, but she isn't. I mean, one of the biggest story points is that she lost her magic for quite some time. And she just really uses most of the time her magic is just flying around.
comes to call home. Kiki, flying in, unused to the traffic in crowded streets, nearly causes an accident and catches the attention of a police officer. As she lands, she tries to talk to a few people on a street corner who are visibly confused by her. Kiki introduces herself and very optimistically tells them that they have a lovely town that she looks forward to living in. But most of everyone ignores her and walks on, except for one older woman who wishes her well. Moments later, the police officer from earlier catches up to her and is angry with her. telling her that he needs to go talk to her parents about her reckless behavior. This encounter is overall a disheartening one for Kiki, and it's what leads up to that scene where she first meets Asano that I've already spoken about. But honestly, none of these people are wrong for behaving how they do. The onlookers on the street, well, they're understandably a bit unsure about this strange flying girl, having never seen a witch before. And plus, it's a busy city. We all know how rushed that environment is, and how you just don't have the time to stop and make pleasantries with strangers. We'll talk more about that in a second.
That's true.
Then there's the police officer who, rightly, is upset with Kiki who nearly caused an accident. From his perspective, she's just a reckless kid fooling around where she shouldn't be. What's actually happening here is that Kiki is having her first encounter with life in the big city.
Such a beautiful
It's big,
city too.
Overwhelming, and it's a complete change from the small, contained community she's been a part of until now. It acts as a culture shock for her, and is part of the journey of growing up. You get placed in unfamiliar environments and face challenges you've never faced before. But as we'll see and talk about more in this video, the journey of the film is of Kiki learning to overcome all of these natural human struggles, and in a sense, find her place as a grown-up in the world. By the end, she's won over the whole town just by being who she is. Even the big city is not immune from becoming a kinder place. Next, let's talk about what is probably the most negative interaction Kiki has with anyone in the film, the girl who we'll call the granddaughter. As we spoke about in the previous section, one of the nicest relationships Kiki has is with the madam. But as Kiki sets off to deliver the pie for this sweet old grandma, everything starts to go wrong. Firstly, she's running late for a party that she's been invited to. Then on the way over, it starts raining incredibly hard, which not only makes it harder for her to fly, but also threatens to ruin the pie if Kiki doesn't protect it under her own dress. So struggling and hurrying, Kiki arrives at this lavish home where she's to deliver the pie for the granddaughter's birthday party. But as soon as the doors open, we can sense a mood shift. The granddaughter is far from thrilled at the sight of Kiki, and when she explains that she's got a delivery from the madam, the granddaughter expresses her annoyance that she doesn't like these crummy pies her grandmother makes. She's curt as she takes the pie from Kiki, and then slams the door shut in her face. The interaction
How can you not love a pie your grandma made for you? Never understood it.
visibly shakes Kiki, who stands there for a while in disbelief. Gigi remarks that this girl couldn't possibly be the granddaughter of that kind older woman they've just met. Visibly dejected, Kiki flies home, skips the party, and goes straight to bed and comes down with a fever overnight. Now obviously getting soaked in the rain is gonna fast track you on the road to illness. But I also think that Kiki's illness is a manifestation of her emotional state, the shock of what she's just dealt with. Seeing the granddaughter be so ungrateful really upsets Kiki, partly because she really likes the madam and saw how much effort she put into making that pie, but I think Kiki also feels, for the first time, someone being ungrateful for her own work and effort. Kiki also really had to work hard to get that pie made, and then struggle even more to get it there safely. So to have someone be so visibly ungrateful for all of that really upsets her.
Personally offended at the disrespectful is absolutely. Unless they're disrespectful themselves, but that's not very many. Sounds not like a Karen. But yeah, generally. Do respect your elders. Don't disrespect them. Unless they disrespect you too.
It's a complete shift from the kindly Madam and Asano, who she's come to know and love. But if we look at this interaction now from the perspective of the granddaughter, her behavior is quite understandable. We all know that as loving and sweet as grandmothers can be, sometimes they can be a bit overbearing. And when you're a kid, you don't always see the effort your elders make for you, you only think about the outcome. And if you've told your grandmother that you hate fish pies, and I mean who doesn't, and yet she keeps sending you some, you're probably right to feel annoyed. You're gonna feel like your grandmother doesn't actually listen to you or understand you, but just projects whatever she wants onto you. It would be pretty easy for Kiki's delivery service to portray this granddaughter as an evil person, but one of the subplots in the film is of Kiki actually learning to become friends with her. Later in the film, Kiki goes on an outing with Tombo, which is fun and full of laughter. But as they're sitting by the water discussing life, a group of kids pull up and flag down Tombo. They tell him that they've got permission to explore inside the dirigible that's docked nearby, and with air travel being such a huge fascination of Tombo's, he happily agrees to go with them. But Kiki spots amongst the girls in the car that same granddaughter, the one who she feels is a mean person. Seeing her, Kiki suddenly changes her mood and demeanor, and she storms off angrily. Getting rather irrational herself, she doesn't even explain to Tombo why she suddenly changed from enjoying his company to being mad at him, and leaves him standing there thoroughly confused. But importantly, the film isn't about Kiki conquering this girl or getting one over her. In a more traditional Western film, we could see this as a schoolyard dynamic, where Kiki wins by eventually getting to humiliate the popular pretty girl and show everyone that she is really better. But while their dynamic is not explicitly explained,
there's not really a dynamic I very much like in this. Yeah, oh, she was mean to me, so now the plot point is, yeah, like disrespect her or like embarrass her in front of like a group so she's not popular anymore and you are popular or something. Again, classic Western story trope. Villain, a form of villain. This is the quote unquote hero. Black and white. Not really how it should be. It's fine sometimes like this, you know. It's also a story trope, but it's quite often.
Explored in the rest of the film, we see during the end credits that they've actually become friends. After rescuing Tombo at the climax of the film and dealing with her own insecurities, something we'll talk about soon, Kiki is shown to be happily hanging out with her granddaughter and all the other people she previously viewed with contempt and skepticism. I mean, this is the person Kiki is seen disliking the most in the film, though even that is a strong word, and we finish by seeing them be friends. This is the ultimate message of Kiki's delivery service. In real life, we can't literally be everyone's friend. That's not possible. And nor does everyone deserve your friendship. Some people suck, but most people can be understood a lot better and will probably prove to be a lot more amiable than you might think. We don't need to categorize people as good or evil. People are not obstacles to overcome. They're just people, like you and me. They can be reached out to, and most of them can be reasoned with. Now again, this doesn't mean you'll never have problems with other people, or for that matter that we can create a world without problems. But neither of those...
I personally think a world without problems would probably be quite dull. I mean, as harsh as it sounds may be, but we do need negative things to happen to appreciate the good things, to learn from them, to grow as people. Of course, it should never be something absolutely horrifying if possible, and it should be at a minimum, but it should never be completely gone. We do need bad things to happen, or sad things, or conflicts, or problems. Preferably those who are solvable eventually. But it's part of life. We should not ignore it. Should just try to make the best out of it.
Things need to be true for us to create a kind world. Often the demons we're fighting are our own, and that leads me to discuss our next section, the internal struggles of Kiki and the lessons we can take from the film. Now, I've spoken a lot in this video already about the nice and sweet things about Kiki's delivery service that I really like. But do you know what my favorite line in the film is? It's the absolute last line of the film. In a letter that Kiki is writing to her parents, she finally tells them about the town she's chosen to live in and what her experiences have been. And then she signs off the letter and the film with the following: "I still get sad, but I love this town." To me, this sums up not only what is beautiful about the film, but also why I think we can learn so much from it, both as viewers and also for any filmmakers. Bear in mind that just before this scene, we see Kiki rescue her friend and become the hero of the whole town, who watch on TV screens and in person with rapt attention as they see this young witch pull off this incredible act. They celebrate her and laud her as a hero, and yet the final sentiment of the film is Kiki acknowledging that she still gets sad, and that despite her struggles and sadness, she still loves this town and her life in it. So many films we consume, especially family films, rely on the idea of a happily ever after. Again, this is a concept I won't have to sell you on or explain to you. We are thoroughly used to films doing this, and sometimes they even literally end with the line, "and they lived happily ever after." The message of these films is that the pain, the sadness, the struggle, any of those things that our characters go through are all confined to the contents of the film. That having...
I mean, it's fine if it happens sometimes. I mean, I am a sucker for a happy ending, I gotta be honest. But yeah, it's dull when it's always like this.
Having resolved all these issues and triumphed over the big bad evil haunting the film, the characters will now live in some perpetual state of happiness. There will be no more challenges, no more difficulties to overcome. They have solved all their worries and will now be forever happy. This is deeply unrealistic, much more so than the idea of a kind world. Sadness and struggle is an inevitable part of life. It is sadness that makes us appreciate the better times. It is in sadness that our loved ones show us just how important they are to us. It is sadness.
One could think I pre-watched it. It's basically what I said before.
That makes us human as much as happiness does. Pretending that there can be a happily ever after is deluded at best and flat out a harmful ideology to spread at worst. A kind world is not one that is devoid of sadness. It is in fact all the more important to recognize each other's sadness and help others in their low periods whenever we can in order to create a kinder world. So for that reason, I want to explore some of the internal struggles that Kiki goes through during the film and what they can teach us about happiness. First and perhaps most significant is the loss of her magic. In a different film, Kiki losing her powers would have been down to some external force. Some evil witch, for example, who takes her powers away.
Yeah, I mean, I always used to like sneeze very, very loudly, like the classical dad sneeze, but I don't, sounds stupid, I don't like to make loud noises. So I kind of got like this more. I'm aware.
Kiki has to beat to get them back. But it's very clear in Kiki's that the loss of her magic is caused by an internal struggle. Something about her has changed and causes her to not be able to access that special something inside that gives her her powers. What exactly this comes down to is something the film leaves completely up to interpretation. And I actually love hearing people's various theories for it. So if you've got a theory, I'd love to hear about it in the comment section. And while you're at it, if you've enjoyed this video so far, please do consider supporting me directly via Patreon. Support from patrons is what allows me to keep making video essays like this and is the best way to help the channel, especially as I'm trying to avoid adding advertisements and plugging weird unethical brands that I don't want to have to sell to you to make a living. The link for Patreon is in the video description.
Ah yes, good old Shade Rado Legends. God, don't play this game. Whoever thought about it, don't. It's horrible.
And I looked at it once. Grateful for your help. Now, from my part, I think Kiki's loss of powers come from her losing her sense of self and her confidence. Her magic comes from inside, and when Kiki is unable to tap into what makes her her, she also loses the ability to tap into her magic. In the scene before she loses her powers, when she's hanging out with Tombo, she explicitly tells him that, "I don't enjoy flying. It's a job. I feel my confidence slipping." The joy that Kiki is supposed to feel from flying, a form of her magic, is no longer there, representing how she's lost a sense of internal happiness. And of course, she explicitly mentions her confidence slipping, which comes from the various setbacks she's had that we've already spoken about in this video. Not long before this scene is the part of the film where Kiki encounters the granddaughter and her perspective on people has been shaken. Not only does seeing the granddaughter's behavior make Kiki worry about people's kindness, or sometimes lack.
All those games offering sponsorships on stream elements is so ugh. I wouldn't want to promote anything personally I wouldn't play or use. Yes, absolutely. A thing I also personally do to my IT background is all those VPNs and incogni whatever. And recently, something I was always skeptical about that came up was this whole thing around Honey with the coupons, which was just a huge scam. Generally, I gotta say, games like Raid Shadow Legends, just a waste of your money and time. Do not play this kind of stuff. VPNs, as long as you don't have like a reason to log on to another server because you like wanna watch Netflix from Australia, although I think it doesn't even work properly anymore. You don't need a VPN to stay safe. It's absolutely nonsense. It kind of infuriates me that watched it yesterday. Yeah, Honey is absolutely. I never trusted it. Like I remember it. Honey was around like 4 years already or something, and I tried it at the beginning once, and it never worked for me. And then I thought about, how would they make money? And yeah, just scummy, just scummy. So yeah, it was good, man. A VPN alone doesn't make you safe. It just doesn't. The VPN just creates a tunnel to somewhere else. If a VPN service has like other security services implemented additional to the VPN, then okay. But then those additional things. Is Honey even available in the German-speaking countries? Yes, it is. It is. It never works though, obviously. But yeah, it is available. Yeah. But back to that, you don't need a VPN. You do not need a VPN. It's absolute nonsense. Military grade security, lol. Yeah. Is like I work with VPNs, my job too, setting it up and configuration, yada yada yada. I know what a VPN really does. Many people do not, because most are like, oh, VPN makes you secure and people can't like get your data or anything. Nonsense. If you log onto a website, no matter if you do it via VPN or whatever, they get your data. It does not work like that. It's no, just that does not work. It gives you worst case, it gives you a false sense of security. Like, you always need to be vigilant if you like really want to be safe with your data. Like for me, I like everything, especially around here, around the channel, because I'm extremely paranoid about it. Everything has like two-factor authentication with a specific app, which needs another password, which is in a key pass to which only I know the password from. And it's like actually like a chain of different things for me, because I'm a bit paranoid about this stuff, because I work with it and I know what could happen. So yeah, a VPN gives you a false sense of security. So if you know what to use a VPN for, absolutely security is staying offline. Well, yes and no. I mean, if someone really wants to, there was like this, I think, Iranian nuclear facility, which they managed to get a virus into it due to it was completely shut off from the internet, but someone like programmed it into one of the turbines or something they used and smuggled it in, or the malware into the closed off facility by basically hacking the creator or the dudes who made this turbine and placed this virus, and then like it got shipped there eventually and started. Like it's extremely creative. It's extremely creative. Yeah, this was from Simplicissimus. Yep, correct, Ray. I don't know if they have the English channel Fern. I don't know if they released this specific topic also, but yeah, it's absolutely crazy shit. So yeah, you not even staying offline is 100% guarantee. Not even staying offline is 100% guarantee. There is no thing as 100% security, really. If someone, even for me, if someone really wants to get a hold of like my Twitch account for some reason, if they really set their mind to it, they would probably get there eventually. Because you cannot stay 100% vigilant all the time. Like I've seen during my time working in IT, I've seen like companies, of course I won't name any specifics, obviously, but I've seen stuff where whole companies almost had to close down, no matter how much security they have, if there's just one thing that, yeah, I will uppercut anyone. Yeah, I mean, I do know a lot of people who would need an uppercut. So if you want to, I'll send I'll give you I'll send you the address. That actually reminds me. I had to deal. It's quite a few years back. I had to deal with something called a crypto locker, which is like some virus that encrypts your data, so you can't use it anymore. And the dude who programmed this virus also set the desktop background as something like, if you want your files encrypted, uncrypted again, send X amount of Bitcoins to this address, which was like a mail address. And then we just created a fake mail in the IPT department. I mean, we managed to we managed to revert the backup, so nothing actually happened here. We just made fun of him and like asked him stupid shit. And the funny thing is, we then said, so yeah, like, oh, we're so impressed with your virus, and like, can you send it to us? And he actually sent us a file. It was, I think, something called like space.exe, .exe. And the funny thing is, this thing was so powerful. As soon as so we put it on a USB stick to test it out, and the thing was so powerful. As soon as you plugged in the USB stick into the computer, it started immediately encrypting it without anything opening. So it was really, really powerful. And then we lost the USB stick in the office, and after that, we had to like go through a rigorous procedure of collecting every USB stick we could find in the office and like formatted it in an isolated computer because we didn't know anymore on which one we put it. It was actually quite stupid. So yeah, but hey, that's how you learn. I don't do this nonsense anymore. But yeah. But all those like scammers and either phone scammers or via SMS or email or whatnot, not everything exists. They are like the absolute bottom of society. Like those people deserve a special place in hell, my opinion. I don't dislike people normally, but if you're purposefully scamming people, that's just no. That's where even my kindness ends. There's absolutely no respect for these people. Absolutely not.
Thereof, she also feels a bit humiliated. She's just a dowdy delivery girl standing in front of a beautiful, privileged, well-dressed and popular teen. It taps into a greater fear that serves as a really subtle subplot throughout the entire film. It's never spoken about very explicitly in Kiki's delivery service, but from very early on, Kiki expresses her deep-rooted sense of not feeling feminine enough. She doesn't feel beautiful, she doesn't feel fashionable, and she doesn't feel like she matches up to many of the other women she encounters in the film. Right from the early scene where Kiki is getting ready to depart, she complains to her mother that she doesn't like her black dress. Her mother tells her,
especially as starting out VTuber arts games are so common on Twitter. Blue Sky, yeah, I mean, I don't know if we knew each other back then, but when I started like with my Blue Sky account, I actually like there was one of the scammer. I posted it. It's one of my first posts, I think, on Blue Sky, where I basically said, "Hey guys, look out! There is actually a scammer around." I think that's how I started writing to Ray, if I remember correctly. I think that was the reason why I initially talked to you, Ray. Or was it someone else? I'm not. I think it was to scroll through the conversation. But yeah, so if I like have the energy and the time and the motivation to do it, at the opportunity, I kind of try to waste those people's time and annoy them a bit. It will not make a huge difference, but it gives me a bit of satisfaction. At least in this bit of time I waste for them, they cannot scam anyone else. It's not much, but still. I also had like a few people via Discord trying to scam me out of stuff. So also like art scams. It's insane. Especially if they steal art from other people on top of that. Absolute insanity. Absolute. Yeah, it's just horrible.
that it's not the color of the dress that's important, but what's inside your heart. To which Kiki replies that she knows having a good heart is ultimately what matters. Later, Kiki again complains to Austin.
It's why my DMs are set to mutuals only. I think because I remember I once tried to write you, Heidi, on Blue Sky, and I think you have turned off your messages completely on Blue Sky. But yeah, on Blue Sky, and I think I still need to set it on Twitter. I also need to set it to mutual everywhere.
To know that she doesn't know about what to wear to this upcoming party that she's been invited to by
But I think
Tombo.
it's default on
She's
Blue
clearly
Sky.
worried again about the inadequacy of her black dress, but Asano tells her that it makes her look beautiful and mysterious, which Kiki is surprised by. At various points in the film, we see Kiki compare herself to other women more directly. At one point, she seems jealous of a group of girls walking down the street, and then after they pass, she stares at her reflection in the shop window and says that she wishes she had something pretty to wear. A few moments later, she spots a pair of beautiful red shoes in a shop window that she's clearly smitten with, only for it to be interrupted when Tombo arrives in a car with his friends. Tombo tells his friends, "See, I told you, she only wears black," which upsets Kiki, who's already angry from the moment they arrive because presumably she already felt judged by them. What I love about all these moments is that they're so subtle. These doubts and fears are easily missed if you're watching the film for the first time. So many films handle struggles like these with a metaphorical sledgehammer, bashing you over the head with exposition about how the character is feeling till all power and emotion is gone from the point. These are not A-plot fears that Kiki has that debilitate her life. They're just passive day-to-day thoughts that she wrestles with. Around halfway through the film, Kiki is tending to the shop when she spots a young couple riding away on a motorcycle, and she sighs wistfully at the sight. You can sense that she wishes that was her. A few moments later, she spots the fashionable lady again, walking by the storefront as she waves at Kiki.
Oh, oops, I used Blue Sky so sparingly I forgot what my settings are because most DMs are just fake accounts. I'm active and familiar with Twitter. I mean, I'm also more familiar with Twitter, but I actually do prefer Blue Sky because, I mean, yeah, scammers are everywhere, but my general experience is that people on Blue Sky are just, I think they're just nicer or they behave better. Like, if possible, I follow up on like Twitter and Blue Sky, but I prefer personally Blue Sky because I just find it's more pleasant to use. It's easier to network on Twitter. Yeah, that's true. That's true. It's also why I created a Twitter account. I want to be more active there too. But my personal go-to, if I have the option, will always be Blue Sky. At least as of right now. Maybe it changes. But yeah, I definitely prefer that. Though it's very nice, and it has actually what I noticed when I like post my stream announcements on both. Blue Sky is actually like more characters you can use. I had definitely a better experience on Blue Sky so far. Yeah, me too. Like I used X before privately, before I started VTubing, and I also like mostly had negative experiences with it. At some point, I just followed like a few gaming and YouTube anime kind of stuff and nothing else. I blocked everything else. What also annoys me about X is that I cannot deactivate the what's trending right now because it always reminds me of like some horrible stuff people spouting there. But I had almost no engagement, only bots. Yeah, I guess Twitter is more prone to bots. Yeah, Twitter is it's the only advantage Twitter has. And honestly, I hope they lose it at some point. I really hope they lose it. Like everybody else who might watch here and only has Twitter, no Blue Sky, come to Blue Sky. It's way better. I'm not sponsored, not that anybody would sponsor that, but would sponsor me, especially not by my size. But yeah, it's I think it's much more friendlier from my experience. But you know, from a networking perspective, I absolutely can understand why you use X, and that's honestly also the main reason why I started using X too. Yeah, the whole thing with the crazy mask persons, calling that. I don't even want to like, really say his name, but yeah. Very aware of like his escapades, and let's just say like that. I'm also way more aware of politics, international politics in general, than I do let on. Why don't but I don't really want to talk about this stuff because I hate it that I know so much about it, and I know it just gives me a headache all the time. Just gives me. So yeah. But I absolutely understand your point, Ray, and I kind of share it too. It's just insanity, really, what it is. And also, there's a lot more weird ads on Twitter. What I noticed, a lot more weird ads, or generally ads, Rarely. Did I ever really see ads at Blue Sky? I can't really remember. Maybe they're just blocked by like Opera, by the ad blocker. Also possible.
Kiki remarks that woman is so beautiful, and then we see again a few seconds later.
All this rage baiting is crazy. Yeah.
As if she was comparing herself to the woman right now.
Like, I'll get back to the video soon, I swear. Like every time in the past, I don't do this anymore because it actually infuriates me. Every time I saw like something trending on Twitter, like on the what's new or what's happening page or whatever this nonsense is called, I clicked on it and I saw so much hate about it does not matter what's happening. Everybody is, it feels like just angry all the time. I don't really like it. And I really do hope that at some point, like, Twitter just dies. Really. Although it should not die. It should just not be so popular anymore. Like all the angry people and the bots can stay on Twitter, and every like normal reasonable person should go to other platforms, in my opinion. But who knows? It's if Blue Sky actually would become more popular, then it's, I think, very much possible that like many of those more toxic people and bots could eventually like swap to Blue Sky or whatever platform is most popular, because they're just looking to get the most engagement out of everything.
A few seconds later,
just fizz out into irrelevancy like MySpace. Yeah. Most people say, oh, I remember MySpace. I've never been on MySpace. Honestly, I've avoided most social media platforms like the pest. Like really starting with VTubing and Blue Sky, it's like the first time I really interact with any social media platform properly. Like I don't have Facebook. I had Facebook when I was like in school back in the Wii years, but I deleted it. I don't have Instagram. I don't have Snapchat. I don't have TikTok, but this is for like I don't trust the company behind it personally. Also with IT thingy. Hope that Hololive is switching slowly. That would be a big deal for VTubing scene at least. Yeah, that's true. That would be actually a huge deal for it. For me, social media is new too. Yeah, me too. Oddly enough, I like in my time as IT, I supported like many people with many companies with actual social media departments and whatnot, so a bit familiar from there. I didn't really have active social media answers that yeah, I guess it's probably, I guess that's what we three have in common, really. Yeah, as I said, the only thing I really had back then was Twitter, and I very reluctantly maybe looked there once a week when I'm absolutely bored, and then I close it after like 5 or 10 minutes again. I mean, I guess I technically have Reddit, but I mostly like look at memes there, so it's fine. Don't really interact much with the people there, just look at memes. I don't really know how to socialize on Reddit anyway. I don't know if this is really possible. No, but actually Blue Sky is really the first social media platform for me that I actually somewhat enjoy using and actually like to look there. Because like until now I've only had pleasant experiences, except the one scamming incident But on the other hand, it also led to me like getting to know more people coincidentally. So I guess it wasn't all that bad. Yeah, and I mean, like for the two of you, like Ray and Heidi, I met you. I would have never found you if I never been a Blue Sky. I mean, yeah, Heidi, I know you're more active on X, Twitter, and never know what for the both things I should say. But still, no, I found both of you via Blue Sky. Don't regret it, not a bit.
She looks a bit melancholy, as if she was comparing herself to the woman right now. All of this culminates in that moment I mentioned earlier, when Kiki, despite having a fun time with Tombo, storms away from him after seeing the granddaughter is his friend. After walking the long road back home, she dejectedly falls under her bed, clearly downbeat. There's no doubt in my mind that she's once again comparing herself to this fashionable, spoiled girl, and also making judgments about Tombo's association with her.
Yeah, I understand this. And not calling. I was like, I refuse to call it X. Yeah, it actually just is so stupid. It's so stupid. I just call it X because I often see it, but I prefer Twitter too. And actually, if you look at my panels down there, I like bought a pack for it, and it really annoys me that the pack it's called X with a banner, not Twitter. I cannot really recreate it. It's a bit annoying me. If I ever get one custom made and I still use Twitter at this point, I will purposefully like write Twitter there.
Gigi arrives, she tells him,
Just out of
Gigi,
spite.
I think there's something wrong with me. I make friends, then suddenly I can't bear to be with any of them. That other me, the cheerful and honest one, then suddenly she tells her, and also making judgments about Tombo's association with her. When Gigi arrives, she tells him, Gigi, I think there's something wrong with me. I make friends, then suddenly I can't bear to be with any of them. That other me, the cheerful and honest one, went away somewhere.
No, I didn't have them commissioned. Like I bought a prepaid pack, so like a pre-made pack. It's actually like linked in the panels and the credits. It's also where I got the background from and everything. This was a whole pack I got there, which I really really like. But like this is literally the only thing that annoys me. And maybe I could write the artist if they can like change it, but for this small thing, I can not really be bothered, to be honest.
It's not a coincidence then that after this, Kiki realizes that she can't understand Gigi anymore, that he seems to be behaving and meowing like a normal cat, and that triggers her to realize that she's lost her magic. That line really speaks to me because I think it's an instinct that almost all of us have. We've all had moments in our life when we really don't feel like ourselves, when we look back at a previous version and think, I was so happy, so cheerful. Where did that version of me go? Sometimes we go through long periods of feeling this way. But Kiki's journey from this point on in the film is of learning to recapture her sense of self, her sense of happiness, and regain her confidence. She goes on a trip to the woods to stay with her artist friend Ursula, who she met during the toy delivery. It's this time with Ursula that helps Kiki realize things not just about her magic, but also about herself. Upon arriving, one of the first things that Kiki sees is a beautiful painting that Ursula is working on.
I have just all social and other credits linked in my card page and avoid too much clutter and linking. Yeah, I already thought about like creating this, but up until now I don't have that much. I wanted it's like on my to-do list that I wanted to also create like a card for me, but I didn't got around to it yet. But it's on my to-do list eventually. Like there's still so much I want to do. Like I actually want to get an even better model than this. Because honestly, kind of secret, kind of missing part of myself, to be honest. And on top of that, it's I have a lot of things I like still want to do, want to change, want to customize, but it does require a lot of money, because I like want to properly have this kind of stuff. Yeah, also like he has no legs. My legs. Yeah, I mean if you see. Yeah. Um honestly, by now I kind of do regret it not having like a full body model, but I was quite unsure back when I commissioned it. This was before I started anything really. If it really was worth it, if I really like even, it sounds stupid, if I even got to this point of actually streaming, because yeah, no feed, yeah. Kind of reminds me of your stream yesterday, Heidi. No feed from the Tellteller just yet. Save for fruit content. I mean, you said it yesterday too. I also never understood why this is like such a thing. At this point, I'm convinced it's just more a meme than an actual thing. I do not get it.
Ursula tells her that she hasn't been able to get the girl's face right, and she was waiting for Kiki to return to do it. Kiki is shocked when she realizes that the girl in the painting is her, and when Ursula asks her to model for the painting, Kiki's first response is, "But I'm not beautiful." Ursula simply laughs at this and tells her that she's got a great face, and that she's only gotten prettier since they last met, probably referencing the fact that Kiki's becoming a woman, and we know she's clearly struggling with that. Later, as Ursula begins her sketching, she tells Kiki that magic and painting are a lot alike. Sometimes, she can't paint a thing. Kiki asks Ursula what she does when that happens because she used to be able to fly without any effort, but now she can't even begin to remember how she ever did it. This again, I think, is so relatable. When we're kids, we find fulfillment without trying. The simplest of things makes us happy without us needing to think about it. But as we get older, finding lasting happiness can be a massive struggle, something we wrestle with for most of our lives. Kiki is feeling for the first time a long...
It's absolutely true. Like, I absolutely remember, like, when I was a kid, everything seemed so much easier and more fun. And sometimes it's actually a struggle. But I do forget how to fly. I mean, I can fly, I can fly down. I can't never fly up. No, but in all seriousness, but I realized only quite recently, actually, like when I started with VTubing here. Actually, I think I posted it once before, or I even talked about it. Actually, I don't remember the last time I was so like passionate about saying something I liked so much as doing this here. Just goofing off here and talking with, I don't know, about nonsense and sometimes maybe not so much nonsense. I don't know. It's still kind of fun. And I constantly think about it and how can I prove? How can I do better? And how can I meet new people, make new friends maybe? And it's actually like an outlet where I almost feel a bit like a child again in a way, and it's really really nice. Like bit of childlike wonder, almost you could say. Same. Oh, those emotes are absolutely great. Yeah. I mean, I still like, despite me having very, very much fun, I still like worry about it when that, oh, nobody, at some point, nobody will watch me because I'm not entertaining or whatever, which is just my imposter syndrome getting a hold of me again, because apparently that's very, very strong in me. But yeah, despite everything, it still doesn't lose its like almost childlike wonder I feel when doing it. I always still get nervous and maybe, and how can I do this and how can I make that and how can I make it better and what could be fun of doing? It could be fun doing yada yada yada. It's just so much fun actually, and I really hope that I like never lose this spark, because it's just such a nice feeling. And I had my times, especially in the past, where I was often quite sad and just lying around, not really doing anything, not knowing what to do with myself, not really wanting much except like getting through the day. And yeah, I get that. I get so nervous and try to psych myself out, despite making only good experience online so far. Yeah, I mean, you're actually I mean, you also started in December, just like a few weeks before Ray and me. And it's actually insane how well you're doing. But I said before, you absolutely deserve it. So I'm really, really happy for you. I'm really, really happy. Like, yeah, but I do worry about this kind of stuff. Yeah, for me, but probably, hopefully, it's just unpresented. And honestly, I don't know if it even does matter if we like ever get any sort of success with it. I'm having fun, and I think that's the most important stuff. And if I can entertain a few people while doing it, hey, even better.
Loss of something innate, a total inability to fly, which really is an inability to be happy.
The MCU, by the way, we should collab at some point. Absolutely. Like, I would absolutely. Maybe we could even find like something the three of us could do. At some point. Who knows? It would definitely be absolutely fun. I actually talked to Ray already about like he suggested like getting a reactive PNG for Discord, and I actually like have some sketches or something like I thought up a really cute like chibi style. I'm really excited. And I gotta really say it sounds maybe a bit cheesy, but I'm really glad I met you too. Like I really enjoy talking with you. It's always so much fun. Also like going into your streams. Really enjoy it.
Happy and fulfilled, to be herself. Ursula's advice? Well, when I still can't paint,
we definitely
I
will
just
find
do
something.
nothing.
For sure.
I go on walks,
I'm
look
absolutely
at the
sure.
scenery, sleep at noon, and then she says she feels recharged again. The message here is that we all need mental resets. We all need breaks to look after ourselves, to recharge in whatever ways work for us. We do need to be kinder, but not just to others, but sometimes to ourselves. As they're heading to bed, Kiki and Ursula have a further heart-to-heart. Ursula shares that she's wanted to be an artist since she was a kid, but one day she found herself unable to paint at all. She realized that she was just imitating other painters and needed to paint her own pictures. This, of course, is a struggle many an artist would understand. But even on a human level, this is what Kiki is suffering with too. She's getting caught in the trap of comparison, worried more about being like other girls than she is about being like herself. Then Ursula continues that even after figuring that out, it still hasn't gotten any easier for her to be true to herself. She says that artists, witches, bakers, they all have a spirit inside them that gives them their powers, but that they also suffer for having that same spirit. I think the film here is definitely talking from the perspective of artists, and you can practically hear Hayao Miyazaki's voice saying these words. But this applies in a broader sense to all of us, too. Sometimes the things that give us joy, that make us human, that make us who we are also what cause us to suffer. Kiki thanks Ursula for coming to see her, and the next day she heads back home, happier for having spent time with her friend. She gets a call from the madam for another delivery, which turns out to just be a cake she's baked for Kiki. She tells the young witch, "Would you please deliver this to a girl named Kiki? She was kind and a tremendous help, and ask her when her next birthday is so that I can make another one for her as a thank you."
Gotta say, because this is my favorite scene in the whole movie. I thought it was so sweet. I always have to like I always grin completely stupidly when this scene comes up right now too. I really like
Kiki
this.
is moved by this act
So cute.
and wants to know the madam's birthday in turn so that she too can return the favor. After this, she learns about Tombo's troubles via the television, and the rest is history. She rediscovers her magic, saves her friend, and wins the hearts of the entire town in a fearless display of courage and heroism. And I think all of this clearly has a message here about women supporting and uplifting other women. But I also think there's a broader human message, and it brings us back to the very first point I made in this video, about the importance of having a kind, supportive community around us. What Kiki struggles with is what all of us struggle with, and there's no characters in the film who are immune from the troubles that life brings us. Ursula struggles to paint and find herself, the madam clearly doesn't have the relationship with her granddaughter that she wishes she had, and even the happy-go-lucky Tombo is filled with self-doubt. but it's by having people around us who are considerate and in touch with our emotional needs that we can fight off these feelings. When she needs them most, when she's at her lowest, it's Kiki's friends who help her learn to love herself again, to see herself the way they see her. Ursula reminds her of her beauty and artistic spirit. The Madam reminds her of her kindness, and Tombo's peril helps remind her that she's not the only one struggling. She's able to put all her self-doubt aside to rush to help another person she cherishes who is also in need. This is why the message of Kiki's Delivery Service is so profound to me, because it's so relatable and yet paints a picture of a world we really don't see enough of, even in Disney films, family films, and children's media. Even as the townfolk cheer on Kiki and celebrate her as a hero, the ending sentiment of the film is still that line I mentioned earlier. I still get sad, but I love this town. The truth is that we can never fully put aside our fears, our doubts, our problems. To be human is to constantly fight against these things. But to be human is also to love and be loved. To be kind and have kindness done to us. To perpetually seek happiness and find the many joys in life on our way there. That's why for me, Kiki's Delivery Service is one of the greatest films ever made, and why its message can truly create and shape a better world for us all. As long as we, particularly storytellers and movie makers, are willing to indulge in creating a world that's fundamentally kind, not one where conflict and hostility are the primary drivers for everything. Thank you for watching this video. If you've enjoyed
a great video.
Please do subscribe to the channel, like, and drop a comment about what you thought of this video and what you'd like to see me cover next. As always, I want to truly thank my patrons, without whom I would not be able to make videos like this, and I would be very, very grateful to any of you watching who would sign up to support me directly. As I said earlier, I don't want to have to pump my videos full of ads or paywall any of my content, but if I want to keep making video essays like these, then obviously I do need to earn a living, and Patreon is the best way to help me do that. The link is in the video description. But that's it for now. I'll be back soon with another video, and I hope I'll see you then. Have a great day, and remember that we can all help create a kinder world. See you soon.
The end message is great. Oh yeah, I really enjoyed this. I mean, we talked a lot about other stuff during the video as well, but still. Here's the link to the video for anyone. Should definitely leave a like, and honestly I'm gonna subscribe here too. A really, really lovely video. I really liked it. I really liked it. So, but I guess actually I just wanted to do 2 hours stream today. It's already like 3.5. I guess we're starting to wrap up here for now, because as much as it pains me, I unfortunately do have to go to work tomorrow too, and I need to get some sleep at least. So maybe there is someone can raid. I mean, there's Aya. Wait, Aya. Unless you have someone else you can recommend we can raid. It was also very nice of you all to come by. I really, really had fun. But yeah, I guess we're raiding Aya. He's right now playing Monster Hunter World. And any of you want to continue? Thank you for stream. Thank you very much for coming by. I really, really appreciate it. Let's make a final raid. And yeah, I wish you all a nice remaining week. Hope you all start well into the weekend, and hopefully we see each other on Saturday again to the next stream. Probably will continue with Yes Your Grace. Maybe we can finish it next time, because there are a lot of other games I wanna play, but I wanna finish this one first. Don't wanna leave them like open. YouTube, right? Thank you. So now we're gonna rate Sedaya. So yeah. Oh, my headset is also going wrong. So thank you very much. And for everyone who wanna come with, let's rate Aya and see what she's up to in Monster Hunter World. Thank you again, and have a nice evening, day, whatever time it is at your place. Bye. Please finish off with this.
kind of solid. Okay, let's go. Let's go beat up Toaster. And then I kind of want to fight a Latreon. I want the layered armor. LuxTaleor? I think I said that right. LuxTaleor, welcome in. Thank you for the raid. Holy shit. Oh my god. We've been getting a lot of raids recently. You'll never see the good angle? What do you mean? From above is the good angle. Hello, welcome in, Raiders. Hi, hello, my name is Aya, aka the Pleasant Aya. I am a Monster Hunter streamer and other video games. So welcome in. What are you guys up to? Where am I going? I want rocks. Raiders Factory, hi, hello. And hello, Lux. Hello, hello. I have another friend named Lux. Where is it? Hello? Oh, it's over there. Aya, look at the group chat. Oh, fuck. Oh no, what's in the group chat? Ah! You guys! I'll put in the group chat in horny jail. Oh, I would. No, the wings. There you go. Hello, everybody. Yes, hello, hello.